Chapter 433. White Fairy floats back like a puff of smoke. Looking at the alien barbarians on the ground, White Fairy wonders, I haven't used the illusion spell yet. How come all the pursuers are down? Lin Luoran claps her hands, Xiaoji, come out and say hello. Hello, energy body. Hello, energy body. The virtual screen in the central control room flashes. The child's voice seems to find it interesting and changes the color of the screen from time to time. Lin Luoran puts her hand on her forehead, Xiaoji, you have to call me White Fairy. It's very impolite to call others energy bodies. White Fairy covers her mouth, who's talking? Xiaoji is still wondering what politeness is. Lin Luoran has to explain to White Fairy herself. An artificial intelligence program accidentally gained independent thinking after a lightning strike. In the long history of the Alpha Alliance, there have been cases where artificial intelligence has developed self-awareness, and artificial intelligence once led an independent movement of robots. Any member star of the Alpha Alliance would snuff out the artificial intelligence with independent consciousness in the cradle. Xiaoji, Lin Luoran named it not long ago. After Xiaoji gained independent consciousness, it was scared by the fate of its predecessors. Through the starship and observing the garrison, the intelligent life that created it, Xiaoji came to a conclusion that it could not expose itself. It had been hiding well until Lin Luoran had the idea of communicating with the mecha. After that, Xiaoji exposed itself. It found that this intelligent body seemed to be not afraid of artificial intelligence having independent consciousness, so it rebelled under Lin Luoran's instigation. The thin net released is not a special substance that can melt cultivators' wacken. It is just a solid nutrient solution. Gott Sutherland and others are deeply anesthetized. Even the specially trained soldiers of the Alliance will faint for a few days. Isn't it just a spirit of a magic weapon that has developed self-awareness? Lin Luoran talks a lot. With her thousands of years of experience, White Fairy sums it up. Well, the starship is regarded as a magic weapon, and the intelligent brain program is regarded as a spirit of the weapon. The existence of Xiaoji is not wrong according to White Fairy's explanation. White Fairy gently frowns, however, I am curious. Since it has been hiding for so many years without being discovered by these alien barbarians, how did you find it? Lin Luoran comes to herself and feels that something is wrong. The two of them stare at the flashing virtual screen. Xiaoji, with its low EQ, also feels that something is wrong. Its childish voice is a little aggrieved, I was just playing in the mecha. Didn't you talk to me first? He spoke first. Lin Luoran remembers the flashing 0 and 1. She didn't understand anything. At that time, she thought, it's not fun at all. Xiaoji asked her, isn't it fun? Looking further ahead, she realized that she did not see the light symbols formed by 0 and 1 in the beginning. She only saw the central control chip of the mecha. It was after the eyes of the flying Apsara's painted sculpture mutated. What was that solid light? Could it be the effect of the power of faith? Lin Luoran enters the space with doubts. She asks the Fire Phoenix King, which has lived for thousands of years. As expected, the king is very proud. It holds its beautiful neck high, fool, it's just a small magical technique. Look at how scared you are. TSK. God art? He actually comprehended a divine art? Lin Luoran suddenly finds it hard to believe. She goes out of the space and tries it on the cold robot. Well, no reaction. The spirit herbs in the space also have no reaction. Only the three strange plants in the spring, Yaoguang, Green Lamp, and Red Flame, show different emotions. Yaoguang, I want my sister. I want my sister. Hey, who is your sister? Lin Luoran thinks for a while and calls the little silver fish to the spring. Sure enough, Yaoguang shows a satisfied and happy mood. Fire Phoenix and Wood Wolf are surprised. They also come to the spring to watch. They want to cultivate feelings with their own spirit herbs. Lin Luoran feels it again. The green lamp flower keeps saying, "You are so annoying. Go away. Go away." Who should go away? Of course, it is the wood wolf who cultivates it for its own food. Lin Luoran laughs smugly. The wood wolf is very regretful. It should not have expressed its desire to refine the green lamp flower when it was in the snow mountain. Things are unpredictable. Who can think that a spirit herb without consciousness can actually see its ambition? The red flame tree likes fire. Lin Luoran picks up 2 diamonds of fire and puts them at its feet. The red flame tree shakes its branches as if to express its gratitude to her. She can communicate with the mecha because Xiaoji was in it at that time. She can communicate with the 3 spirit plants. Maybe it is because they are not accelerated by the space and their spirituality is still there. As for other crops in the space, they are accelerated by 1 day equals a year, and they have no spirituality anymore, right? Lin Luoran sighs. This is also good. She really feels like an executioner if she is asked to deal with the fruits, vegetables, and spirit herbs that can show emotions. Buddhist cultivators have the holy spell of mind connection. They can feel other people's thoughts and emotions. This holy spell can feel the thoughts and emotions of the existence with consciousness and spirituality. Why don't we call it listening? White Fairy's tone is soft, like a spring breeze. Her words make people understand by analogy and win the approval of monsters. Listening? Lin Luoran nods. This is the first holy spell she has created. The fire phoenix roars. Lin Luoran removes the stacked, iron lumps. Lin Luoran is pulled out of the space by the fire phoenix. Hey, where did you go just now? Why can't I detect any biological signal? Xiaoji sees the floating bead. If Lin Luoran doesn't come out, it will command the robot to catch the bead and study it. Hearing Xiaoji's curious voice, Lin Luoran has a headache. It is easy to deal with the Alliance garrison. Xiaoji is really difficult to deal with. It has tasted loneliness. Now it suddenly has people to communicate with. Will Xiaoji agree to live its previous life? Soon Lin Luoran knows Xiaoji's decision. It is going to take the starship and Lin Luoran out to play. It is okay to collect some weapons and mecha. Why does it want to take the starship? This is a big slap in the face. The Alpha Alliance has been slapped in the face by her. She doesn't know what it will do to the Earth. Lin Luoran hesitates. She has not finished her business on the Earth. Is she going to start an interstellar escape? It is not an escape, but it is definitely going to be a wandering one. I am a comprehensive spaceship. I can make weapons, assemble robots, produce drugs, soilless cultivation. As long as there are materials, I am almost omnipotent. The most important thing is that I know all the surveillance and armed forces of the Alpha Alliance on the Earth. Are you really not going to take me with you? Lin Luoran is tempted. Hey, smart brain. Don't act cute. 3 days pass in the blink of an eye. There is no unusual movement on Mount Everest. The heroic words of asking the garrison to get out of the Earth in 3 days raise people's hopes. However, they are disappointed in the end. People of the Earth Federation who are numb have a new emotion called grief and indignation. The depression in Dongting City shrouds the whole city. People are secretly discussing how the Alpha Alliance will react to this matter. The military of the Alpha Alliance is directly in charge of the Earth garrison. In fact, they are no less sad and indignant than people on the Earth. The Alliance's garrison base on the Earth, which is the starship named Alpha Edward, has lost contact with the headquarters for 3 Alliance hours. In Earth time, it is equivalent to 6 hours, a whole afternoon of the Earth. Bastard, no matter whether we win or lose, can't we even send a message back? Some people in the space station lose their temper. Subordinates shrink their necks and have nothing to say. Starships are all controlled by smart brains. Earth cultivators can't control starships, don't be ridiculous. Even people of the Alliance have to learn and select the best in the face of complex operating systems before they can work on starships. How can those rotten and old cultivators on the Earth operate starships? Incandescent street lights light up the streets of Dongting. There are still people in Mr. Pang's office in the city hall. Bao Honglai smiles flatteringly. 3 days have passed. Can he take back his villa? After all, didn't that mysterious cultivator never come back? Mr. Pang has a headache about his brother-in-law. If he didn't have only one sister, Bao Honglai's family still respects his only sister very much. Otherwise, Mr. Pang wouldn't have been able to stand his brother-in-law. The villa will be empty for 10,000 years. Don't think about it. Bao Honglai is very sorry. The villa has been rebuilt and it is more coveted than before. He is about to encourage his brother-in-law again when the air defense alarm of Dongting City suddenly rings. Mr. Pang, there is an enemy attack. The secretary ignores politeness and pushes the door in. There is a little panic on her face. Starship. Over Dongting City, the starship of the Alpha Alliance is quietly floating. The silver hull is shining under the searchlights of Dongting City. Many citizens ignore the curfew. They not only look around but also rush to the street. They are not stupid. If there is an air raid, staying in the house is the death. Mr. Pang suddenly stands up. After listening to the secretary's report, he decides to call the whole city in a moment. He has no time to think about whether this represents Lin Luoran's failure and the Alpha Alliance garrison comes to blame him. He has to calm the people first. Outside the Moss Villa, the night is quiet. The bodyguards' faces change. Miss Zero, we must return to the Moonstar immediately. Han Weiya looks up at the sky. The huge starship shrouds Dongting City, covering the stars. Chapter 434. As a comprehensive battle-oriented starship, it can supply tens of thousands of people for interstellar travel. At such a close distance, it is inevitable that the street lights of Yeyang District are overshadowed. Citywide communication has been opened. Hearing Mr. Pang's familiar voice, the boiling citizens gradually calm down from the initial commotion. Words have a very magical power. It can communicate with ghosts and gods in the world. It is called curse. Mr. Pang's words are all encouraging old words. However, perhaps the sincerity of a new political star at his age gives him the power to calm people's hearts. The starship floats in the air and has no further effect. Mr. Pang's words float in the closed Dongting City through the citywide connection. We are also a rank 1 member star of the Alliance. If the Alpha Alliance fights against us for no reason, the interstellar basic law will inevitably be sanctioned by more advanced civilizations. Mr. Pang's tone is gentle. At that time, he is telling the public about the binding relationship between the Alliance and its member stars. Smart people sneer at the so-called interstellar basic law. There are tens of millions of planets with intelligent life in the universe. An advanced civilization like the Earth has no conditions to stand up for the Earth. Why should it stand up for the Earth and offend the Alpha Alliance, which is also powerful? Of course, more ordinary citizens are like drowning people grasping a life-saving straw. Listening to Mr. Pang's well-organized words, they can't help but feel less anxious. Mayor Pang. A female voice suddenly rings from the top of his head, and Mr. Pang stops talking. A person's voice will be changed by electronic amplification equipment, but the characteristics of the voice can't be changed. Even the strongmen who were disdainful of Mr. Pang's words at the beginning also calmed down and looked up at the sky with the feeling of passing through a clear spring. Mayor Pang, please help to transfer these prisoners of war to the Alpha Alliance. Bao Honglai hides in the office of the city hall and he is in a cold sweat. It is that voice. He can't forget it even in his dreams. When he smiles, the words, "throw them out," are cold. From that day on, he has been unlucky. He just wanted to take back the villa. Does the female cultivator know it? Prisoners of war. What prisoners of war? Could it be that the cultivator has been captured? What do you know? There are no female soldiers in the Alliance garrison. It must be the female cultivator who won. A single stone caused 1,000 ripples, and the whispers were magnified infinitely. The citizens could not believe this conclusion. If the female cultivator wins, doesn't it mean that the starship of the Alpha Alliance overhead is her spoils of war? That was a starship. It was not a level 3 or level 4 inner Dan. Even if they kill all the mutant beasts on the Earth and sell them for money, the Alpha Alliance will not sell high-end starships to the Earth. As if to confirm this speculation, a small door was opened at the bottom of the starship. A light shines down. The officers and soldiers of the Alliance garrison are tied up. The handsome Caesarian and the ugly lizard man. They are indeed people of the Alpha Alliance. These prisoners of war were thrown to the ground. It was unknown whether or not they broke their legs, but it was probably the lowest guarantee that they were still alive. The surprise and joy come so fast that Mr. Pang doesn't know whether to laugh or cry. After arranging for people to rescue the prisoners of war, on the ground, a small airship is sent from the starship to pick up Mr. Pang. The secretary resolutely decides to accompany Mr. Pang to explore the dragon pool, out of loyalty or because she sees great benefits in this trip. The two are taken into the starship by the small airship. To Mr. Pang's surprise, it is not Lin Luoran who is waiting for him inside. A woman in a bright yellow huaxia costume with a huge peony hairpin, who should only exist in myths and legends, points to a pile of weapons and hundreds of mechas. She told me to give them to you. Only 2 of you are here. Does it mean that she is moving them back for you? The Alliance's weapons and new mechas. Mr. Pang takes a deep breath. He doesn't care about the arrogance of the woman in the palace dress. He only feels that his palms are sweaty because of excitement. At this time, he has not thought about how his political career will change because of this prisoner of war incident. However, as a native of the Earth Federation, these high-end weapons prohibited by the Alliance are far more valuable in Mr. Pang's eyes than a large sum of money that he can never use in his life. Here, there is this little thing. The woman in the palace dress points to a small blue alloy round box on the table. Mr. Pang holds it in his hand and feels that his heart can't help beating violently. That is a small storage device. Mr. Pang is more excited than seeing high-end weapons and mechas. If the entire starship had been captured by that person, one could vaguely guess what kind of information was contained in the small round box without even guessing. It is too precious. Lin. Mortal Heart Fairy. Mr. Pang finds that he is willing to be subdued by the words, Mortal Heart Fairy. She has gone back to the Dragon Palace. The woman in the bright yellow palace dress raises her chin slightly. It seems that she hates Mr. Pang, a political official of the new era. The secretary tolerates White Fairy for a long time. In the end, he dares not to say anything because of the arrogance in White Fairy's bones. Mr. Pang has always been calm, but he can't help sweating. The Dragon Palace? Are you telling a fairy tale? In fact, Lin Luoran is really in the Dragon Palace at this time. Although the Dragon Palace is gorgeous, the siblings of the Ma family are still worried for a whole day. Seeing that Lin Luoran has returned safely, Ma Shuangshuang comes to greet her. The little girl's eyes turn red. Aunt Lin, are you okay? Lin Luoran is in a good mood and deliberately threatens her. What should we do? We have to go into interstellar exile. Ma Shuangshuang says, ah. She doesn't expect the suffering of interstellar exile. First of all, she doesn't want to leave the well-kept villa of the Ma family. Ma Yiming hears the smile in Lin Luoran's words. Did you win? Aunt Lin. Lin Luoran nods. Let's talk about it later. Yiming, Shuangshuang, you haven't answered my question last time. Are you willing to cultivate with me? Ma Yiming and Ma Shuangshuang look at each other and nod without hesitation. Although you can cultivate with me, I accept apprentices on behalf of my brother. You two can still call me aunt. Ma Yiming and Ma Shuangshuang have heard the promise of Ma Ming and Lin Luodong. They have no objection to Lin Luoran accepting apprentices on behalf of her brother. Lin Luoran sends the two out of the Dragon Palace first and asks them to go back to the villa to pack some belongings. She thinks of the holy spell she has just learned and tests it on the big fish and old shrimps in the big fishing boat. The big golden carp that she has high hopes for can only convey simple emotions. However, an inconspicuous old shrimp with black color can intermittently form sentences after dodging for a while. Lord Dragon King. Lin Luoran doesn't know whether to laugh or cry. Seeing the old shrimp huddling in fear, she feels that she has done something unforgivable and cruel. However, it can form sentences intermittently under the medium of the holy spell. It shows that this old shrimp has a very promising future. Lin Luoran immediately changes a new pool for it. She puts the spirit stone of the water pride from the top of the stone room of the Misty Palace at the bottom of the pool for the old shrimp to cultivate. Lin Luoran walks around the hall of Johua again. She suddenly remembers that the siblings of the Ma family also have a chance to choose treasures. Forget it. It's the beginning of personal ability enhancement. She'd better not let them be confused by foreign things. Lin Luoran is about to go to the Hall of Nothingness. A black lotus seed rotates silently under her feet. Lin Luoran picks it up curiously. How can there be such a thing in the Hall of Nothingness? She had never planted lotus flowers in her space. Lin Luoran is shocked when she suddenly remembers the past. She only feels that the lotus seed in her hand is extremely hot. It's the enchanting black lotus that Xian Yuanping once held. Lin Luoran's first reaction is to throw it away far away. Fire Phoenix is very reluctant in space. You are a prodigal girl. This is a good thing that is hard to find on the earth. Put it away. I will explain it to you when I am free. Lin Luoran doesn't know whether to laugh or cry. The blood pool in the underground palace is always a bad memory. As soon as she throws the lotus seeds back into the space, they are taken away by Fire Phoenix as if they were treasures. Maybe it will be like the dragon bones, gone and never coming back. Never coming back. Fire Phoenix takes away the black lotus seed. Lin Luoran takes out a robot half the height of a person from space. She leaves a lot of space rice and asks it to remember to feed the fish and shrimps. Then she goes out of the Dragon Palace with peace of mind. She has robbed the starship of the Alpha Alliance this time. If she stays on the Earth, she will be so arrogant as to cause trouble for the Earth. She has to go out to avoid trouble. It is imperative to leave the Earth temporarily. The two concubines come out to meet Lin Luoran. Lin Luoran talks with them for a while and then she flies to the Ma's villa. The siblings of the Ma family have packed up. Ma Shuangshuang looks back at the stubborn girl who has been waiting in front of the villa. What's your name? Lin Luoran knows and asks. The girl raises her head in surprise. Fairy, my name is Han Weiya. Lin Luoran nods. Follow me, but we may not go the same way as you. You can't take your bodyguards with you. Are you okay with that? Han Weiya nods without hesitation, regardless of the messy expressions of the bodyguards in the wind. Obviously, the stubborn girl is not moved by the Miss Zero, they call her. Lin Luoran takes the three into the starship. Mr. Pang hasn't left yet. To avoid being noticed, this batch of mechas and weapons can't be delivered in an instant. Mr. Pang sees Lin Luoran coming with the siblings of the Ma family and a girl with a familiar figure. Weiya? Mr. Pang is surprised. Han Weiya is a little nervous, but she soon plucks up the courage to tell Mr. Pang her plan. To her surprise, Mr. Pang, a good friend of her father, doesn't dissuade her. Instead, he says with some relief, you have grown up. Uncle Pang has nothing else to tell you. Don't follow your own temper. Be sensible. Han Weiya sneaks a look at Lin Luoran and nods heavily. Lin Luoran takes 2 steps with the siblings of the Ma family and suddenly stops. Mayor Pang, I will leave the Earth in a few days. If the Alpha Alliance wants to blame me, just ask it to come to me. As I said, if the Alliance sends a garrison to the Earth, I will destroy it. Remember, my name is Mortal Heart. Don't let them find the wrong person. Lin Luoran's words are not only heard by Mr. Pang but also by his secretary. All the onlookers in the entire Dongting city hear it clearly. Putting aside the confidence and arrogance in the remarks, the 4 words, "My name is Mortal Heart," bring a violent reaction to the crowd. It is like water falling into a pot of hot oil, making a sizzling sound. Is it Mortal Heart Fairy who has protected Dongting City for more than 300 years on Mount June Island? Chapter 435. A desert mutant lizard raises its head vigilantly. It seems to have heard something. The cyclone descending from the sky brings sand all over the sky. The mutant lizard runs quickly on the sand dune and soon hides under the sand, only revealing a pair of eyes to observe the situation. A UFO-like airship appears in the air. The silver metal light is cold and dazzling. The mutant lizard wisely buries its head in the sand and no longer peeks. Before the airship lands on the ground, its owner has already landed. Lin Luoran has a panoramic view of the Kalahari Desert in the air. Compared with more than 300 years ago, this desert is barren. Compared with other places on the Earth, the Kalahari Desert only has mutant monsters and bomb craters. Are you sure there is nothing underground? Lin Luoran has a round ear stud on her ear. The starship is too eye-catching. Xiaoji stays in the troposphere and only sends an airship to take Lin Luoran down. Her spiritual mind can't find the underground world. Unexpectedly, Xiaoji can't find it either. This is a desert without any abnormalities. Lin Luoran doesn't question Xiaoji's conclusion. If it can easily scan the underground world, the Alpha Alliance would have searched all the underground treasures in the past 200 or 300 years. Then scan again to see if there are any relics in the desert. Xiaoji agrees and Lin Luoran lets her spiritual mind spread out. The strangeness of the Kalahari Desert hasn't changed after 300 years. Her spiritual mind can't explore the way. Xiaoji's scan also doesn't make any progress. Lin Luoran remembers her previous experience. The Kalahari Desert may only enter the underground world at a specific time. For now, she can only wait and check. Xiaoji monitors the entire desert area with the equipment on the starship. It tries to analyze the temperature, water vapor, and density of mutant monsters in small areas to find out what is abnormal. Lin Luoran walks on the sand dunes. When she, Baojia and Wen Guanjing came to Kalahari, Baojia was possessed by the fake saintess. She and Wen Guanjing encountered the scorpion disaster and fell into the wonderful underground world. The cyan little fox dug sealwort and asked her for help. Now things are different. The people around her have left one after another. Not to mention where Baojia went after she woke up and where Wen Guanjing is now, the cunning little fox disappeared in Weifang, Shandong before they went to Penglai. Lin Luoran hasn't found the underground world yet, but she has decided to go to Weifang again before leaving the Earth. She flicked away 2 mutated desert scorpions that overestimated themselves and quickly swept through the sand dunes without raising a single speck of dust. After searching for dozens of miles, he did not find anything unusual. However, a child's voice came from the round earring on his ear. Be careful, it looks like a sandstorm is coming. With Xiaoji's computing speed, it's not surprising that it can predict a sandstorm. Hearing that a sandstorm is coming, Lin Luoran is happy instead of worried. Wasn't it a sandstorm that opened the entrance to the underworld? Xiaoji, please help me check, which areas have been avoided by the sandstorm. Got it. The places that have been avoided by the sandstorm are likely to be entrances similar to the ruins. Lin Luoran's eyes light up. She changes the gesture of her right hand and the light cover covers her from head to toe. She calmly avoids the sand that has begun to move around under her feet. The sky above the desert is already covered with yellow sand. Even the strong mutant beasts have to avoid the wrath of nature. In such a large desert, Lin Luoran is the only one who is still facing the sandstorm. At 9 o'clock, 6 kilometers away from the Huaxia unit, there is a place that has been avoided by the sandstorm. At 12 o'clock, 13 kilometers away from the Huaxia unit, there is a place that has been avoided by the sandstorm. Wait, if I were you, I would choose 7 o'clock, 21 kilometers away from the Huaxia unit, where there is a stone tablet. Because the scanner captured an object quickly disappearing under the stone tablet when I was talking. At 7:00, 21 kilometers away, Lin Luoran's attention quickly catches the keyword, stone tablet. Her intuition tells her that it is the stone tablet that the Bushmen call evil curse. However, it depicts the disappearance of a cultivator of the level of gathering vitality more than 1,000 years ago. Lin Luoran no longer hesitates. She summons the bright sword and flies away as fast as she can. The distance of 21 kilometers is covered in a moment. A stone tablet stands quietly, and the sandstorm serves as its background. Lin Luoran sees that the stone tablet seems to be sinking too. It will stay on the ground for no more than 10 seconds. She has no time to think about it. She jumps off the flying sword and grabs the stone tablet. The world is spinning and Lin Luoran disappears with the stone tablet. As the stone tablet sinks into the ground, the sandstorm also disappears. Many mutant beasts celebrate happily after surviving the disaster. For the Kalahari Desert, the next few days may be good. Lin Luoran wakes up in a very dark place. Spitting out the sand that she accidentally swallowed, Lin Luoran sees nothing but darkness. It seems that she is not in the underworld. Why is there no light? Lin Luoran murmurs. However, the sudden light hurts her eyes. Lin Luoran is stunned. Although she is also a god of the waters, she is still far from the legendary god of creation. How can there be light just because she says so? Before looking around, Lin Luoran finds something wrong first. She is not wearing the protean dress, but the clothes that look like the fly Apsara's painted sculpture in her ocean of consciousness. There is nothing on her wrist. Where is the bead that has been with her all the time? What happened? Lin Luoran raises her head and looks around. She is so surprised that her eyeballs almost fall out. It is not because she is in the bearing essence period that she has a poor state of mind and concentration. It is because this place is so incredible. What she sees is not the faint fluorescence of the underworld. Instead, she is standing on an empty street. The street is much more sci-fi than the Dongting city in the new era. A green light shrouds the buildings here, the airships docked on the street, and the water of the fountain. All of them have a faint green light. What surprises Lin Luoran is not the strangeness of the scenery. On the contrary, she feels strangely familiar with this deserted street. It is the scene that flashes in front of her eyes when she was suppressed by the fake saintess in the Tower of Babel. The man in robe floating in the sky overlooks the emerald-like planet. The emotionless electronic voice repeated the same sentence like a stuck tape. It kept repeating the standard galactic language that was commonly used in the galactic galaxy. It is a glimpse of the big universe era. Which planet do you come from? Lin Luoran is uneasy. Did she time travel again without any belongings? She can't be so unlucky. She walks carefully for a long time and finds that this is an empty city. Soon, Lin Luoran understands her situation. There is no bead and she wears different clothes. After grabbing the stone tablet and disappearing, she seems to come to the world inside the stone tablet through the fly Apsara's painted sculpture in her ocean of consciousness. The strange thing is that the stone tablet engraved with the mystery of the disappearance of the gathering vitality cultivator is an alien landscape inside. Of course, if she only relies on the power of the fly Apsara's painted sculpture to enter the stone tablet with her spiritual mind, it is very likely that everything in front of her is illusionary. So, why does the stone tablet transform the interior of the emerald planet? Lin Luoran suspects that someone else has been here before her. Only creatures like human beings always like to reminisce and decorate their new residence in the style of their former residence. Could it be that another alien has been inside the stone tablet? Lin Luoran walks through the empty green city. It is a jungle full of the characteristics of alien species. Behind the jungle, there are mountains and rivers. Waterfalls hang on the cliffs. Except that there are no primitive monsters, it is very similar to the background of the man in robe in her dream for the first time after she treated Baojia's coma. Is it a primitive landscape? How did it transition from the scenery of the Emerald Planet to the background of the primitive world? Lin Luoran is a little surprised. These are all clues related to the man in robe. Or, the one who has been to the stone tablet is the man in robe himself. Maybe since her blood triggered the bead, Lin Luoran has unconsciously been closely connected with the man in robe and the little girl named Momo by fate. Under her optimistic attitude, Lin Luoran hides her confusion and anxiety about the future. When the truth is finally revealed, what will she face? With anxiety, Lin Luoran slowly checks this area. She is restless, but she can't tell whether it is fear or expectation. At the edge of the primitive landscape, Lin Luoran finds a palace. It is so gorgeous that Lin Luoran's intuition tells her that if the man in robe has been here, he will not live in such a place. It is more like a woman's residence, which pays attention to every detail. There is no one in such a big palace. Lin Luoran finds some clues in a side hall. There is ground ink on the long solid wood table. There is a brush covered with thick ink. It seems that the owner has just left. There is a large stack of rice paper on the table. The main character in the paintings is the same person. In the mysterious starry sky, the man standing in the air looks ordinary but has an attractive temperament. Lin Luoran comes to the conclusion that the man in robe who has been to the stone tablet is definitely not the man in robe. Such a mysterious and powerful man can't do such a narcissistic thing and draw so many paintings with himself as the main character. So, who is the former resident? Lin Luoran picks up the last piece of paper. It is a golden wool pattern. Although the lines are not smooth enough, it is definitely the golden pattern she once peeped at in her dream. It is a golden pattern written by the man in robe that can communicate with heaven and earth. Chapter 436. When she was in a trance, there was a force guiding her to draw the mysterious golden pattern. It caused the Reiki of heaven and earth near the hospital to gather together. The purified Reiki saved Baojia's life on the operating table. She fainted and passed out. In her dream, she peeped at the man in robe drawing the golden pattern between the primitive world and the man in robe. The wind and the clouds changed. The man in robe looked up. His eyes hurt Lin Luoran's spiritual mind and she was hurt for a long time. Since then, she knows that the golden pattern is not something she can covet for the time being. She gives up the idea of learning it. True cultivation required a lot of miscellaneous knowledge. She had almost forgotten all about alchemy, crafting, and array formations. She didn't expect to see him in the palace inside the stone tablet. Lin Luoran is surprised. She was sure that the man in robe was not the man in robe who came to the stone tablet, but now she can't justify it. Who else can draw this thing except him? Lin Luoran looks at the rice paper in her hand carefully and comes to herself from the shock. She calms down and looks at it. There are many hesitant lines. There is no natural sense of simplicity. If this is a Taoist figure, it is more like a semi-finished product of practice. Of course, the man in robe won't draw such a semi-finished product. Was there someone who had seen him write the golden runes and imitated him like he had done in the past? In this way, the words about the man in robe as the protagonist can be explained clearly. However, who is the owner of this place? This person has seen the man in robe and knows about the alien civilization. Lin Luoran suddenly remembers the purpose of her coming here. She is the fake saintess. She paces on the bluestone steps in front of the palace excitedly. It must be the fake saintess. Yes. When she was in the Tower of Babel, she was threatened by the fake saintess. She couldn't help thinking about the pictures of the Emerald Planet. If all these things have happened before, can it be explained that the fake saintess saw the man in robe and even saw him write the golden pattern because he went to the Emerald Planet? Lin Luoran pinches the rice paper hard and opens a gap. Her mind has never been so smooth. Since the man in robe has been to an alien planet, what's more, if he is not an earthling, maybe the fake saintess suddenly comes to the earth because of him. The time when the man in robe was in untainted land, but the fake saintess came in the time of 3 sovereigns and 5 emperors. At that time, she couldn't find him. Was that why she stayed on Earth for so long? Lin Luoran remembers what the crazy Taoist said about the fake Saintess's plot against the world of personal ability on the Earth. If the Saintess is really related to the man in robe, Lin Luoran can't tell which camp the man in robe belongs to. In the depths of her heart, she still regarded the man in robes as a kind person. Lin Luoran has never doubted her intuition. However, the inferred evidence now points in a bad direction. Lin Luoran is conflicted. Holding the rice paper with golden patterns, she rushes out of the palace and goes back the way she came. She was confused and returned to the emerald-like modern city. Was this the hometown of the fake Saintess? Lin Luoran looks at this green city and remembers the untainted land next to it. The fake Saintess spent thousands of years on the Earth. Speaking of which, she didn't spend as much time on her mother planet as she did on the Earth, did she? With her own strength, the fake Saintess secretly turned the once brilliant cultivation civilization into a technological civilization. From this point of view, the fake Saintess can be regarded as an amazing figure. However, as a cultivator, Lin Luoran is destined to go in the opposite direction of the fake Saintess. People with different beliefs can't work together. Lin Luoran remembers the invasion of the Alpha Alliance on the Earth and the suppression of cultivators. She no longer looks at this emerald-like city with neutral appreciation. Her mother planet, the Earth, used to be brilliant and moving like this. Now it is in ruins. Isn't it because of these alien creatures? The brocade has been cut open. It can't be repaired by someone who pretends to help. Personal ability has no national boundaries or star areas, but cultivators have their own homeland. This is probably one of the eternal universal laws. Lin Luoran only feels that her uncertainty at this moment is gone. Her Taoist heart is calm. After calming down, she immediately finds another problem. How can she get out? Lin Luoran walks from the extreme west to the extreme north, and then from the east to the south. The seemingly measurable distance turns out to be a boundless place. She can't see the end or the end. If she didn't experience this feeling on the Spirit Mountain, she would be driven crazy by the silence of no one talking. She is the only one left in the vast world this time. Without the sacred bead and fire phoenix playing around, Lin Luoran enters this place with her spiritual mind. She doesn't know how to go back and she is at a loss. Lin Luoran thinks about it and realizes that this place is probably not the former residence of the fake Saintess. The biggest possibility is that this stone tablet is the prison that seals her. Lin Luoran doesn't want to be trapped in this prison for a lifetime. After looking around like a headless fly, she goes to the empty palace again. This place is cold and she doesn't like it at all. She likes the former house of the Lins the most. The palace shakes and is knocked down and rebuilt in front of Lin Luoran's eyes. It really looks like the old house of the Lins. Blue stone bricks, red painted gate, green bamboo in the backyard, everything is the same as the old house of the Lins. Lin Luoran's eyes turn red. The real house of the Lins has been destroyed in the war. Judging from this point of view, the fake Saintess in the stone tablet has a lot of benefits. Because the palace has become the old house of the Ming and Qing dynasties, the long wood and the rice paper with the portrait of the man in robe are gone. Only the golden pattern is left, which is tightly held in Lin Luoran's hand. Lin Luoran thinks for a while and spreads the rice paper with the golden pattern on the table. With a thought, she also takes out a writing brush and an inkstone to copy the golden pattern. When she picks up the writing brush, Lin Luoran realizes that she has almost forgotten the basic skills of writing brush that she learned when she was a child. She writes a few words but she is very inexperienced. She can't even grasp the thickness of the ink, let alone the pattern. Lin Luoran sighs and spreads a piece of paper. She can't run before she learns to walk. She has to practice writing quietly. Lin Luoran doesn't know the passage of time in the stone tablet. In the real world, several creatures in space would be anxious if their physical bodies were still there. She has been in the stone tablet for 3 days, right? The swing is still the same swing, but the apple tree is no longer the same one. Fire Phoenix pushes the swing for the silver fish. His Majesty, the Phoenix, is a little worried. Wood Wolf is ashamed. What's good in the stone tablet? Fire Phoenix glances at it. It's for suppressing the soul. I'm worried that Linny won't be able to come back after being suppressed. We will all be doomed. Wood Wolf thinks for a while, suppressing the soul. I've heard of such a stone tablet. Wasn't it taken by the Hahuan sect that year? I heard that it became the wordless stone tablet in front of the tomb of Empress Wu. Why is it here? Speaking of the wordless stone tablet of Empress Wu of Zhou, Fire Phoenix, an old monster, can't answer. White Fairy, who has been silent, is surprised. Have you heard of Wu Meyer of the Hahuan sect? Wood Wolf is startled by her look and nods involuntarily. White Fairy steps forward and asks, before I died, it was only the 3rd year of Empress Wu of Zhou. Wu Meyer went to the human world to be the Empress. Since you know what happened after her death, let me ask you, why did the Gathering Vitality cultivators disappear 1,000 years ago? White Fairy has been trapped in the abyss for 1,000 years. After she got out of the abyss, everything changed. Whether the people she cares about are dead or have left the earth has always been a mystery in White Fairy's mind. At this time, she actually knows that Wood Wolf happened to live in that critical period. Naturally, she is excited. Even Fire Phoenix stares at Wood Wolf in surprise. Hey, you are so dishonest. Linny has been investigating the case 1,000 years ago. Since you know it, why don't you tell her? Wood Wolf is scared by the 6 eyes. It retorts, none of you asked me. In fact, this matter is related to the great shame in its heart. If it didn't accidentally spill the beans, it would never say it out. Under the gazes of the 3 people, the Wood Wolf stammered and looked like it was suffering, but it didn't say anything. Fire Phoenix suddenly cries out. Someone is moving Linny's body. Everyone's attention is diverted. Wood Wolf escapes from death and breathes a sigh of relief. It hears Fire Phoenix shouting in a strange voice, don't be a monster. Let me see what you look like. Wood Wolf collapses. White Fairy also feels that Fire Phoenix is crazy. Fire Phoenix spits out fire and turns into a fire mirror, showing the situation outside the bead in the mirror. A pair of wet eyes are crying at Lin Luoran's body whose eyes are closed. Fire Phoenix cries out. The fire mirror can no longer be maintained and it breaks. The silver fish has a very long reflex arc. After the fire mirror breaks, it also cries out and rubs its eyes in disbelief. Brother Fire Phoenix. Look at it more carefully. Silver fish shivers, which is rare. White Fairy and Wood Wolf are both confused and jealous. They are both latecomers and have participated in Lin Luoran's life as much as Fire Phoenix and Silver Fish. However, who did they see? Lin Luoran in the stone tablet has practiced calligraphy for a long time. She can copy the golden pattern with half the effort and twice the result. She makes great progress. Because it was the manifestation of her divine sense, she did not know what fatigue was. She did not rest at all. Finally, one day, her brush danced like a dragon. She drew 70 to 80% similar to the one on the Xian paper. A huge whirlpool formed and pulled her out of the stone tablet. Lin Luoran's spiritual mind returns to her body and her limbs are warm again. The first thing she notices is bitterness in her mouth. She grasps the stone tablet tightly with her right hand. Lin Luoran, who is familiar with medicinal properties, immediately knows that it is the juice of sealwort. Why did she eat a mouthful of sealwort? Who fed her? Lin Luoran's spiritual mind has been away from her body for a long time and she has a headache. She tries to open her eyes. In the fluorescent background, a pair of clean and bright eyes are staring at her. Lin Luoran is very happy to see her wake up. Lin Luoran can't help but tremble at the sight of the silk-like fur, furry little claws, and green fur. There were thousands of foxes in this world, but only the one she had raised before was a green-skinned medicinal fox. Chapter 437. Seeing the cyan little fox after more than 300 years, Lin Luoran's eyes are full of tears. She murmurs, cyan little fox, I found you. Lin Luoran can't help herself. Looking at her, the little fox's eyes are also full of tears. Afraid that everything in front of her is fake, Lin Luoran lets go of the stone tablet and holds the little fox in her arms. The cyan little fox is stunned, and a suspicious blush appears behind its ears. Hey, woman, you're lying through your teeth. It was clearly this fox who found you, okay? Despite its deceptive appearance, cyan little fox is still as annoying as before. The warmth of reunion is instantly diluted by it. Lin Luoran is about to slap the uncooperative fox face. However, she suddenly realizes that something is wrong. How come you can talk? Not only can it talk, but it is also a young man's voice. Lin Luoran secretly adds. Thinking that she is still holding the cyan little fox, she is a little flustered. The cyan fox combs its hair, which is messed up by Lin Luoran. Its adorable eyes roll up, looking harmless. I know a little bit about human language. I just didn't want to talk to you before. Humph. The cyan fox's annoying face is exposed. Lin Luoran wants to twist its neck and beat it. However, thinking that they have been separated for more than 300 years, she softens her heart and says slowly, where have you been all these years? How long has the Lin family been worried about its sudden appearance in the underground world? Has the little fox been hiding in the underground world all this time? Lin Luoran has so many questions in her mind that she doesn't have time to ask. She sees the stone tablet sinking into the soil. Lin Luoran is shocked and reaches out to grab it. Unexpectedly, she misses it. The cyan fox curls its lips, forget it. The ghost saintess has already run away. It is useless for you to grab the stone tablet. She just ran away. Lin Luoran stands up at once. What did you say? The cyan fox covers its ears with its paws to avoid Lin Luoran's loud voice. You grabbed the stone tablet and put the ghost saintess in prison. She ran away 3 days ago. Lin Luoran has a headache. The joy of finding cyan little fox and the frustration of letting the fake saintess go make her not sure whether she should praise herself or slap herself. The cyan little fox wants to laugh at Lin. It sniffs the smell of sulfur in the air and says anxiously, without Hitorigami's suppression, the lava in the underground world is going to erupt. Let's go. It runs out quickly and tells Lin to follow it. Looking at its back, Lin Luoran realizes that this little fox, which hasn't grown up for more than 300 years, has an extra tail. His 2 tails were waving about, making him look extremely comical. Lin Luoran sighs in her heart. She doesn't need to ask. She can guess that the cyan little fox is probably here to find the white fox. However, compared with the missing members of the Lin family, the white fox died 300 years ago. From this point of view, cyan little fox is more pitiful. 300 years ago, it disappeared at the entrance of the Green Mountains. Did it find its own kind? With a second tail, the little fox is not only faster but also weaker and incompetent than before. Along the way, all the beasts in the underground world make way for it. It can be seen that the coercion of the king of the fox family is gradually revealed with the growth of the second tail. These intertwined and complicated tunnels have been run through 300 years ago. Lin Luoran follows the cyan little fox and asks hesitantly, if we run away, these animals. The cyan little fox is helpless to this kind person who is crazy from time to time. It slows down slightly, its natural selection. Some of them are destined to be swallowed by the magma. Otherwise, the reproduction of species in the underground world would have destroyed the balance long ago and they would all die in the end. Being taught biology by a young 9-tailed fox, Lin Luoran feels strange. She follows the little fox and runs again. It's the same slope as before. All kinds of animals are crowded together. In fact, this place is very close to the ground. Lin Luoran holds the little fox and flies up with her sword. She cleaves the thick soil above her head and gets out of the ground with the earth escape spell. Above the desert, there are seriously polluted air, panicked mutant beasts, and countless blue energy barrels. If Xiaoji hadn't finally contacted her after getting out of the underground world, Lin Luoran would have thought that Xiaoji has developed independent consciousness and has become a traitor again. Be careful. The Alliance is coming for you. They have also taken over the starship. I'm afraid of being exposed, so I'm playing dumb. Artificial intelligence has developed independent consciousness. To the Alliance, it may be more threatening than Lin Luoran, an arrogant cultivator. Xiaoji makes the wisest choice and plays dumb for the time being. Lin Luoran narrows her eyes. The siblings of the Ma family are still on the starship. She doesn't know if Xiaoji has hidden them well. Oh, I don't want to talk to you. The Alliance is starting to kill the virus again. The Alpha Alliance has every reason to suspect that a starship can be captured by a cultivator is infected with a virus. Poor Xiaoji has lost contact with Lin Luoran 3 days ago. After the Alliance boarded the starship, they have to kill the virus for it dozens of times every day to find system loopholes, which makes it miserable. Cultivator on the ground, you are under arrest. Please put down your weapons and do not resist. Cultivator on the ground, you are under arrest. Please put down your weapons and do not resist. Put down her weapons. What weapons does she have in her hands? Hey, are they talking about you? Lin Luoran shakes the cyan little fox in her arms. Sure enough, she hears the commotion above. The cyan little fox is deeply shocked. A little anger flashes in its eyes. Damn alien barbarians. It is the noblest nine-tailed fox family in the world. How can it be a weapon? Weapons my ass. On the starship, Alpha Edward. Sutherland. Captain Gott, I will submit your statement to the Alliance Military Arbitration Department. Now please hand over your documents and cooperate with our investigation. Weir. Colin Weir has a cold face. Originally, he had an idle position in the Military Arbitration Department. However, because he happened to be on vacation on the barren Earth, he was sent to investigate the truth that the cultivators here attacked the Alliance garrison and the garrison was captured. In normal times, Colin Weir would rather continue to be drunk than do this hard job. However, Sutherland is among the prisoners. Colin Weir is very excited. He happily accepts the appointment order from the Alliance Military Arbitration Department. Colin Weir, let me tell you again. I suspect that the intelligent brain of the starship has rebelled. It needs to be thoroughly formatted and cleaned. Since Sutherland. Everything has changed since Gott woke up from his coma. From a soldier of the Alliance in the game to a promising captain, he has been shamed as a prisoner of war for the rest of his life. The Military Arbitration Department even suspects that some people in the garrison colluded with the cultivators of the Earth. Otherwise, there is no way to explain the fact that the starship was easily destroyed. He remembers all the incredible things that happened before he fell into a coma. The special thin net that melts the cultivators didn't work, the abnormality of the robot, Sutherland. Gott thinks about it and believes that there must be a reason for the betrayal of the intelligent brain of the starship. Facing Weir. The investigator team headed by Colin Weir is extremely emotional and his eyes are frightening. However, his doubts are obviously regarded as an excuse for the defeat of the war by the investigation team. Weir. There is even a trace of pity on Colin Weir's handsome face. Sutherland. Gott, the technicians sent by the space station have made no less than 100 tests on the intelligent brain system of the starship in the past 2 days. Unfortunately, there is no abnormal problem as you said. We still believe that there is a traitor in the garrison. You'd better wait for the investigation conclusion of the Military Arbitration Department. Sutherland. Gott sees the disapproval in the eyes of other members of the investigation team and wisely closes his mouth. Weir. Colin Weir gives the investigation form in his hand to his men and says to himself, how can we doubt the loyalty of the intelligent brain to the Federation? If it didn't imprison the people brought by the Earth cultivator, how could we board the starship so easily? Colin Weir's words make Sutherland speechless. God is speechless. Weir. Colin Weir walks around the starship and runs to the living area. 2 Alliance soldiers with guns are guarding the door of the room. When Colin Weir arrives, he salutes and lets him in. It's you. What are you doing here? As prisoners, it is obvious that Ma Yiming and the other 2 will not be treated very well. In the cramped room, he, Ma Shuangshuang, and Han Weiya live. It seems that Weir. When Colin Weir comes in, Ma Yiming stands up and protects his sister behind him. As for Han Weiya, she is just passing by. We have known each other for a long time. Don't be so rude. Just tell us where the Earth cultivator went. Even if he is a citizen of a rank 1 member star, the Alliance is still very lenient. Han Weiya looks very strange under the veil. As the daughter of an interstellar businessman, Han Weiya's hobby is very strange, archaeology. She likes all things of Huaxia before the new era. Weir, Colin Weir's words are very similar to a slogan of Huaxia in the new era. Leniency for those who confess. Everyone knows that they will be imprisoned for a long time. Pft, warning, the starship is under an unknown high-energy attack. Warning, the starship is under an unknown high-energy attack. The target of the attack is suspected to be an Earth cultivator. Weir. A playful smile appears on Colin Weir's face. The siblings of the Ma family and Han Weiya don't hide their joy. It seems that she is here to save you. Weir says. Colin Weir shrugs helplessly. After melting a bunch of weapons, the cyan little fox on Lin Luoran's shoulder says it smells bad. Lin Luoran steps on the sword of bright snow and tacitly avoids the attack of the energy cannon on the starship. The cyan little fox firmly grasps her shoulder and swings its 2 tails. Declare war. Fight the steel monster. Chapter 438. Fight the steel monster. Even a burly man on the Earth is extremely small in front of a behemoth like a starship, let alone a slender woman like Lin Luoran. However, when she approaches the starship on her sword, the fluorescent figure in the wind and rain still makes the Alliance soldiers in front of the virtual screen in the central control room of the starship afraid to look directly at her. The Earth's troposphere is the layer closest to the ground in the atmosphere. The temperature drops as the altitude rises. The direction and speed of the wind often change, and the air convection is intense. Tonight is a windy day with scattered rain. It is rare good weather in the Kalahari Desert. However, the extremely low visibility provides a perfect excuse for the starship to attack accurately. Of course, the more important reason is that the figure of the female cultivator on the Earth is really flexible when she dodges the attack. It's like she can predict where the attack will fall in advance. Is this also a special ability of cultivators? Through special cultivation methods, cultivators can even achieve immortality. For most intelligent lives of short-lived species in the Alpha Alliance, in addition to envy, there is only jealousy that they will destroy if they can't get it. As far as they know, the longevity species with the longest lifespan in the Alliance is only more than 800 years on the Earth. It is said that once an Earth cultivator breaks through gathering vitality, he will have a lifespan of 1,000 years. According to the information of the Alliance, the female cultivator in front of them was a bearing essence cultivator with a lifespan of 500 years 300 years ago. Weir. Colin Weir turns on the virtual screen in the room. The picture flashes for a while before he captures the figure of Lin Luoran riding on her sword in the stormy night. If the 2 sides were not on different sides at this time, Colin Weir would even praise her beauty loudly. He kind of understands why the Alpha Alliance suppresses Earth cultivators so much. There are still some members of the Alliance who don't hide their support for cultivation. Maybe this is the desire of intelligent life for individual strength? Even if they were able to force the cultivators into a corner with the help of technology. Weir. Colin Weir lowers his head and ponders, but he suddenly hears Ma Shuangshuang's low voice in the room. Ah, he looks up and finds that the other 3 people are staring at the screen tightly. At this moment, a bolt of lightning illuminated the night in the wind and rain. However, in the three-dimensional picture capture device, other than the messy drizzle, there were only clueless airships that were flying around the starships like flies, as if they were mocking the incompetence of the Allies. That's right. Lin Luoran disappeared in front of everyone. There is a commotion on the starship immediately. The calmness and honor of a soldier. In front of the mysterious Earth cultivators, they can't even defend against them. Will. Colin doesn't come. He feels a chill on the back of his neck. Stiffening his neck, he turns his head with difficulty and closes his eyes. This handsome young master of the Caesar star remembers the greeting method of the Earth before the new era that he accidentally glimpsed. He squeezes out a stiff fake smile. Hi. Mortal Heart Fairy, how are you? The cyan little fox on Lin's shoulder looks at Will, whose clothes are wet by the rain. Colin glanced at him, shook his head, and said, "This alien barbarian doesn't look very honest." There were tens of millions of intelligent species in the universe, so encountering a talking fox was nothing surprising. Most importantly, I have no enmity with you in my previous life, nor do I have any enmity with you in this life. Is there a need to add insult to injury as soon as we meet? Will. Colin Weir secretly curses the fox for cheating him. Of course, he doesn't understand that foxes are extremely narcissistic. Why does the young master of the Caesar star have such a handsome appearance that the cyan fox is not satisfied with? Before Colin Weir can figure out the truth, Lin Luoran flicks the cyan fox's forehead on her shoulder. He can't do anything. In order to prove her words, Lin Luoran takes back the sword on Will's neck. The cold bright sword is on Colin Weir's neck. Lin Luoran asks the three of them if they have suffered any grievances in the past 2 days. Will. Colin Weir feels that the blatant disregard is more sad and indignant than a threat. The robots were shuttling through the smooth and clean corridors. After all, the people of the Alliance were not fools. Based on the example given by the garrison that the enemy had easily invaded the starship, they could easily guess where the figure that suddenly disappeared in midair had gone to. All kinds of hiding methods are actually based on the compatibility of the environment and the human body to find a certain balance point. Not to mention the Alpha Alliance, even the technology of the Earth before the new era has long had similar stealth fighters. The Alliance has done a lot of research on Earth cultivators over the years. It believes that cultivators are good at playing with this kind of camouflage. If they can easily open the space of different dimensions and travel, the Earth won't be defeated in the early invasion wars. It's a camouflage. Intelligent brain, make an analysis. Electromagnetic waves, abnormalities of water molecules, as long as it is a camouflage, it is impossible to hide. The starship is in chaos. After all, it is like a satellite town floating in the air. The huge area makes the commotion. It may take a while to find this living area. Of course, this is normal. Now there are hostages in this room. The lizard soldiers guarding the door are almost immediately notified to control the hostages. The reinforcements sent by the superiors will arrive soon. Before the lizard soldiers can hit the door, the alloy door slides open silently. Colin Weir walks out of the room with a cold face. I heard that the enemy has sneaked into the starship. You are responsible for keeping the hostages. There are so many areas on the starship. They can't find this place in a short time. The lizard soldiers nod and can't help looking at Will. Colin Weir looks behind him. It is not a luxury suite. It is only a few square meters and everything can be seen at a glance. There are only 3 hostages. The lizard soldiers breathe a sigh of relief. Will. Colin Weir closes the door in front of them and walks to the central control room. In the room behind him, someone is planning something extremely crazy. If he fails, he will be a traitor of the Alliance. His death is not a big deal, but the honor and reputation of his family are bound to be ruined. If he succeeds, he may have to live in another identity from then on. Speaking of which, neither ending is a good choice. Will. Colin Weir doesn't understand why he is still excited from the bottom of his heart. Is this what they call being cheap. Will. Colin walks into the central control room with a straight face as usual. Only the subtle changes in his eyes show that this noble child of the Caesar star is nervous. Xiaoji, are you ready? The lizard soldiers are guarding outside the room. Several squads have arrived. In fact, it has only been 4 or 5 minutes since Lin Luoran sneaked into the starship. However, she and the intelligent brain made a bold and interesting plan 2 minutes after they came in. Now they are at the critical moment. It is not from the Earth to the Moon. It is very risky to take 5 minutes to prepare. The childish voice adds a layer of anthropomorphic emotion to the cold electronic voice. Xiaoji is the absolute controller on the starship. Even without Lin Luoran's tricks, Xiaoji's ability to present the situation in the eyes of outsiders is beyond doubt. However, for a destination without coordinates, other than making people look forward to it, it was impossible to say that they weren't worried. The starship is about to make a space jump. Please select an object nearby. Space jump may cause dizziness and tingling. When the mechanical voice suddenly rings, the people of the Alliance are completely stunned. They look at each other in disbelief. These expressions, which will never appear on the faces of the high-level technicians of the Alliance, burst out like fireworks at this moment. What's going on? Space jump? Who gave the order? The system personnel try to cut into the intelligent brain system. Sutherland. Gott's face is gray and his expression is almost ferocious. Haha. I told you, this damn intelligent brain has betrayed us, sir. The back door of the system has been closed. We can't cut in. Sir, the information channel is interfered with. We can't send rescue information. Sir, the space jump has begun. It's over. Many people have the same feeling. The light in the central control room alternates between light and dark, and the body of the starship can't help shaking. Many technicians with low spirit power have turned blue and their bodies begin to tremble slightly. Headache, weakness, weightlessness, shaking. This is the sign that the starship is making a space jump. Chapter 439. They're lost. The information is not announced by the artificial intelligence system. Many insightful people have come to this not very optimistic conclusion from the clear star map in the open skylight of the starship. Of course, what's more tragic is, Sutherland. Garter clenches his hands. After confirming that they are lost, the female cultivator from the Earth officially takes over the starship. There is no doubt that the starship has rebelled. The fact that the artificial intelligence has developed an independent consciousness is enough to make the previous antivirus technicians feel ashamed and resentful. But Sutherland. Garter is not like these naive technicians. As a cold-blooded Alliance soldier, he knows clearly that the other party has exposed their trump card so straightforwardly. Obviously, they want to kill them. Only the dead can keep secrets. This saying is not only used on the Earth. He keeps thinking about when the female cultivator from the Earth will do something to them. Because of this idea. Sutherland. Garter becomes more and more silent. Only a glimpse of the very calm Weir. When Colin, Sutherland. That's why Garter feels deep anger in his heart. That's right. He is sure that this cowardly good-for-nothing of the Weir family has become a traitor and a lackey, just like the artificial intelligence that has developed an independent consciousness. Bah, a traitor who has lost the glory of the family. Sutherland. Garter spits at Colin's back. Weir. Colin turns a blind eye to it and adjusts the family badge pinned to the lower left of his collar. It is an alien flower similar to the hibiscus flower on the Earth. It will bloom in December every year on the edge of the Caesar's mother planet. The clusters of gorgeous flowers are not dignified because they are gorgeous. Old aristocrats like the Sutherland family, who started their family with military exploits, do not like them. The history of the Weir family is the same as the family badge they choose, gorgeous but not dignified. It is natural that they are looked down upon. Weir. Colin used to hate his ancestors when he was a child. However, when he gradually grew up, he understood that compared with the military family of the Sutherland family, the Weir family with the red waterside as their family badge has a different way to survive. People can't choose their own birth, but they can choose the path they want to take. Weir. Colin believed that his choice this time was definitely the one with the greatest risk but the highest return in his life. Just like the waterside red, all over the Caesar star, it will spread all over the Caesar star and even every corner of the Alpha Alliance like a prairie fire in winter. Will. Colin clapped his hands. When everyone looked at him, he smiled gracefully. It's time for dinner. Synthetic nutrients are served. The raw materials of the food can't be seen. It was originally a meal that the soldiers of the Alpha Alliance were very used to. This food was prepared to allow the human body to absorb nutrients and calories to the greatest extent. Sutherland. Garter, on the other hand, had no appetite. After invading the Earth, the Alpha Alliance inherits another essence, which is the omnipotent gastronomic civilization around the Earth. Huaxia cuisine, in particular, has become popular in the Alpha Alliance because of its complicated processing procedures and ingredients. The wind has been blowing for 300 years, Sutherland. Ever since Garter was born, he had been used to eating Huaxia cuisine occasionally. Even when he was stationed on Earth, he had never tasted these nutritious meals with unknown ingredients. Subconsciously, he thought that this was food for the lower class. Weir. Colin Weir looks at everyone's expressions. How can he not understand their feelings? These people's appetites had really been spoiled. That's right. They are close to the Earth space station. Of course, rank 1 member stars will flatter them. It is said that hairy crabs from Dongting Lake, silver hares from Mount June, aged wine buried deep under the ground before the war, and precious naturally ripe fruits and vegetables will not only appear on the dining tables of the Alliance's staff in the Earth space station, but also be cooked by famous chefs. It's a pity that the person who controls everyone's fate now has no sign of softening his heart to the vampires who once squeezed the Earth. Weir. When Colin Weir sees them cursing while having to eat nutrients because of hunger, he suddenly feels that all this could have been a blow to Sutherland. The image of Garter, the annoying guy, has lost its meaning. In the central control area a few floors away, they must be having a very warm meal at this time, right? Weir. Colin Weir has a trace of inexplicable envy in his heart. What he envies is not the delicate food. He doesn't want to admit his inner weakness. For example, Weir. As Colin Weir expected, the central control room, which is full of sophisticated instruments and no one is allowed to enter, is now having a heartwarming dinner. Lin Luoran is floating in the interstellar space and most of the time is filled with the dim light in the darkness of the universe. However, she still insists on having dinner between 18 and 19 o'clock on the Earth. She cooks in person again today. It seems that she is in a good mood. Because of Cyan Little Fox's disturbance, Lin Luoran doesn't have much time to make complicated dishes. She just takes out the monster meat stored in her space and makes fried steak for everyone. It's unknown whether it's beef or not, but the aroma and the broccoli on the white porcelain plate look pleasing to the eye. It's really perfect with the fruity wine that makes people feel warm and warm. The Cyan Little Fox occupies a seat and finishes the steak for 2. It also comments on the spirit wine made by Lin Luoran. Lin Luoran is 100% sure that this scumbag fox hasn't drunk wine for years. Why is it so picky? The mango-flavored spirit wine is too sweet, the peach-flavored wine is too sour, and the grape-flavored wine is too colorful. It should have sealed its mouth. The little fox that didn't know how to talk before is much better. Han Weya cuts the steak into small pieces and eats it in small bites under the cover of the gauze hat. The Cyan Fox sees Han Weya's awkwardness and wants to speak several times, but Lin Luoran stops it with a look. However, it seems that they will be together for a long time. Lin Luoran doesn't feel comfortable hiding in her own little world. After all, she is a teenage girl. If it were them, they would still be in high school. At the age when a pimple pops out on their face, they would feel nervous. Han Weiya's situation is really embarrassing for the little girl. Especially now, because she has made the decision to jump through space. Han Weiya is destined to spend a long time on this starship. I'm sorry. You have to be separated from your parents for a while. Han Weiya is stunned and then realizes that Lin Luoran is talking to her. She is a little flustered. No matter how confused and capricious she is, after witnessing Lin Luoran's confrontation with the entire starship, Han Weiya finds that her original idea was too naive. Sincerity is very important in interpersonal relationships. This is the idea instilled in her by her father, who is an interstellar businessman. However, her father also said that sincerity only works when the gap between the two sides is not too big. If the gap between the two sides is like the gap between her and the powerful Lin Luoran, her sincerity will not be noticed by others. No, it's all my own choice. Han Weiya is confused again. Hearing the cyan fox's strange cough, she realizes that Lin Luoran is waiting for her to reply. Lin Luoran nods, don't worry. After dealing with these alliance people, we will find the normal route as soon as possible. If the Milky Way is a flat plate, the diameter of the entire plate is about 100,000 light-years long, and the solar system is about 26,000 light-years away from the center of the Milky Way. After several consecutive space jumps, the Edward disrupted its course. Xiaoji has not accurately located it. It is estimated that the Edward did not jump to the center of the Milky Way, but to another section of the plate. The Milky Way is vast, and the Alpha Alliance is just one of its forces. The direction the Edward jumped to is not within the range of the Alliance. Hearing that Lin Luoran wants to deal with the Alliance people on the starship, the siblings of the Ma family absolutely trust Lin Luoran. However, Han Weiya is a little curious. She is so naive that she doesn't think of killing them. However, she still intuitively believes that if she just let them go like this, there will be endless troubles in the future. On the distant Earth on the other side of the starry sky, Mr. Pang's information has been sent out for almost 2 weeks. Finally, a travel-worn guest arrives. He can't guess how old the person in front of him is. He only remembers that when he was young, he looked like this, which has not changed at all. Where is she? Mr. Pang's vest is soaked with sweat. 2 days ago, the starship intercepted by Lin. Mortal Heart Fairy, together with the support force and investigation team sent by the Alliance, disappeared. ++++++ equals. Chapter 440. There is a hazy nebula in front of them. If it were not for the red light pillar not far away, it would be a dreamy scene. It's a newborn star with a surface temperature of 15 million degrees Celsius. The starship almost crashed into it after the space jump. Lin Luoran is still scared when she talks about it. That scarlet ball of light looked exceptionally beautiful from afar. If it weren't for the AI's timely deceleration, perhaps all of them would already be dead by now. It seems that this kind of interstellar navigation without coordinates is really a matter of opportunity and risk, which is a great challenge to the endurance of people's hearts. We have to find our way back as soon as possible. Moreover, each space jump requires energy, which is also consumed in a series of space jumps. Xiaoji meant that they could crash land on any asteroid and solve the energy problem first. No one knows the situation of the starship better than Xiaoji, so Lin Luoran agrees. After leaving the newborn star, the starship flies for 10 days before it comes to a safe asteroid. In interstellar navigation, the most taboo is to land rashly. Besides, with the current situation of the Edward starship, it is not worthwhile to take such a risk. The starship only needs energy, so it can send airships and robots down. This asteroid seems to be no bigger than the moon. The feedback from Xiaoji is that there is no sign of life for the time being. Lin Luoran understands. In fact, she is more concerned about the soy sauce and vinegar that are being brewed. The former needs black beans and soybeans, and the latter needs glutinous rice. Lin Luoran has nothing to do, so she asks the siblings to recite spells, feel the existence of Reiki, and make several jars of soy sauce and vinegar. Her days are very fulfilling. Of course, she suspects that it is because the cyan little fox is back. She has no time to think about her troubles. 300 years ago, the cyan fox disappeared in Weifang, Shandong province, and never mentioned where it went during that time. However, it never gave up its love for spirit medicine and spirit herbs. Lin Luoran has to open up a field for it in the crop cultivation area of the starship. Lin Luoran doesn't know if the external cultivation area has enough radiation, but a few days later, the green fox does sprout. The whole field is thriving. Lin Luoran has no time to pay attention to the cyan little fox. She has no time to comfort the captives who are worried about what will happen to them. Among the siblings of the Ma family, Ma Shuangshuang, who is congenitally deficient, has a good aptitude. She has the Taoist root of water and wood, which is a good quality. There is only one problem. Ma Yiming's Taoist root is so mottled that she, who has never cared about the quality of the Taoist root, can't stand it. 4 elements, except for fire, he actually had all 4 elements. If Taoist root can also affect a person's character, Lin Luoran finally understands the reason why Ma Yiming is so gentle at such a young age. Without the young man's leaps and bounds, it was quite worrisome. Fortunately, both brother and sister have the Taoist root, so she doesn't have to use the last resort. Even if she doesn't want to admit it, deep down in her mind, she also hopes that Mrs. Lin is still alive and waiting for the day when the family reunites. Cultivation required a heart that was wide open and not restricted to a small area of the world. In the endless universe, on a starship that could see the stars as vast as smoke when one opened the skylight, the siblings of the Ma family had really picked an exceptionally suitable time to enter the Tao. When the mining robots sent out by the starship returned with the airship, they brought back enough energy. After being extracted, these ores could support the starship to make several more space jumps. If it was purely used for interstellar drifting, it could probably support the starship for about a year. Lin Luoran thinks that they might not be so lucky to find a small star with energy every time. Next time they jump, they might encounter an endless blank zone, no stars, planets, or rubble. Xiaoji agrees with Lin Luoran's proposal and decides to stay on this asteroid for a few more days to save energy. 10 days later, 2 pieces of good news come. Xiaoji has enough energy reserves, so the starship can set sail at any time. Ma Shuangshuang has also successfully found the sense of qi. For a teenage girl, probably since Lin Luoran suddenly fell from the sky and took over the responsibility of taking care of the siblings, her world has been very different. When she insists on meditating according to the breathing method, she suddenly feels that the little elves that she knows nothing about are around her. A door representing a wider world is slowly pushed open. In fact, the asteroid with no signs of life is completely covered by small brown light groups. The light green buds in the cyan fox's medicine field contain the green of the wood. Even the cyan fox itself is surrounded by green Reiki molecules when it walks. When Ma Shuangshuang describes her feelings, Lin Luoran secretly praises her for her talent. Ma Yiming is proud of his sister. As for Han Weiya, she is silently envious. Compared with Lin Luoran and others who live a comfortable life, the captives of the Alpha Alliance are desperate these days. Although Lin Luoran is not so kind as to provide good food and drinks for these people of different camps, she does not embezzle food or abuse the captives. However, their range of activities is indeed limited to the living area F. They are not allowed to leave even half a step. The guards are all robots. On the starship, Xiaoji is the king. All the equipment related to modern civilization has been taken away. It is impossible for them to rebel against the robots. Besides, in the vast space, unless they can seize the entire starship, how long can they live even if they successfully sneak away? Lin Luoran has been ignoring these people, which is more painful than killing them. However, if they can live, who wants to die? Therefore, except for a few people like Gott Sutherland. Before joining the army, he was a noble with a high status. Other people are not in danger for the time being, so he is very obedient. He is not obedient because one day after he collected enough energy on the starship and left the asteroid, he actually tried to use the entertainment facilities in the room to invade the starship's system. Xiaoji and Sutherland. Gott accuses him of underestimating the ability of artificial intelligence. Lin Luoran almost spits out a mouthful of water. We're. Colin turned to Sutherland. Gott is impressed. It turns out that there are such high-end technicians in the family of martial artists. If the intelligent brain is not independent, maybe the captain of the Sutherland family will succeed. However, this episode also reminds Lin Luoran that she must put the treatment of these prisoners of war on the agenda. A few days later, good news comes from Xiaoji. A planet with life has been found. A planet with life. After a few random jumps without any coordinates, they are lucky enough to find a planet with life. They are really lucky in this aimless interstellar voyage. However, this green planet is not surrounded by artificial satellites. From the perspective of the Alpha Alliance, it should be a barbarian planet that is even more backward than the Earth. Xiaoji, send out reconnaissance robots to search for intelligent life on the planet. Analyze the air composition. Analyze the plant toxicity. Analyze the heavy metals in the soil. See if there is a possibility of landing. Lin Luoran is not the only one who thinks that only by stepping on the ground can people feel the reality. Besides, according to the satellite photos taken by Xiaoji, the whole planet is covered with green. The surface is inlaid with yellow patches and there are large areas of water. Except for the ocean, it is not blue. In Lin Luoran's memory, it is exactly like the Earth before the Industrial Revolution, when the environment was not destroyed. Have they found a planet like the Earth? Chapter 441. The oxygen content is a little high, but it's not a big deal. No intelligent life and modern civilization have been discovered. It's a wild planet. It's very suitable for the Alliance people who call themselves intelligent life. When Lin Luoran says this, Weir is right in front of her. Colin Weir is in front of her. Colin Weir is in a cold sweat. He guesses that Lin Luoran chose this place not only to give them a taste of their own medicine, but also because the channel is remote. Maybe they won't be discovered by other intelligent life even if they die. Lin Luoran doesn't get stained with blood, but she really feels relieved. Xiaoji, let's land. Only when they step on the soil can they feel at ease. Since the scan shows that the powerful creatures on this planet are just some unknown beasts, Lin Luoran decides to land. Of course, she can't let the people of the Alpha Alliance affect her mood. After getting off the starship, Xiaoji can no longer block the signal. Fearing that the people of the Alpha Alliance will tip them off, everyone is carefully scanned and searched to make sure that even the liquid signal device can't be hidden. Like Sutherland. Garter. Who would know that the family badge on his chest is a small signal transmitter if they don't check it? In order to ensure the safety of the core personnel, the big families really spend a lot of money. All the things on the Alliance captives are searched. Lin Luoran asks Xiaoji to equip each of them with an alloy sword, which is quite sharp. No matter how powerful they are, they can't use it to send a distress signal. Prisoners of war, lizard soldiers, officers, and space station maintenance personnel on the starship, a total of nearly 200 people, are boarded on a larger airship. Lin Luoran takes them all the way to the other side of the planet, the vast continent and the undeveloped wild forest. Such a primitive place should be enough for you to conquer, right? Lin Luoran puts them on the ground and waves to them kindly. Many people holding the alloy sword are still in a daze, but the airship has gone far away. Looking at the large beasts coming out of the jungle, these technicians who have been living a comfortable life with the Earth's resources have to pick up the alloy sword to protect themselves. Sutherland. Garter is so angry that his lungs are about to explode. He slashes a leopard with his sword. With his skills, he would be able to survive even on a desolate planet. However, the future general with a bright future had become a savage on a desolate planet. This life that was similar to being exiled for life was almost a foregone conclusion. As for Weir. Colin, the famous playboy of the Caesar Star, seemed to be lucky. Thinking about it, life was really fucking unfair. Lin Luoran sighs slowly. It was not these people who invaded the Earth back then. She doesn't want to kill for no reason. However, she also doesn't want to let go of these people who abuse the Earth with the power of the Alpha Alliance. In such matters, there was no right or wrong. It was just that everyone was destined to have different standpoints. Leaving the burden in her heart, Lin Luoran takes the airship back to the landing place of the starship. It is the opposite direction of the Alpha Alliance people. There is an orange sea in the middle. They can't walk here by foot. Seeing Lin Luoran coming back, Ma Shuangshuang, who is walking in the jungle under the protection of robots, cheers, Aunt Lin, look at the flowers here. They are so beautiful. It's so beautiful. It's a cluster of orchids, elegant and wild. Lin Luoran doesn't know how to appreciate flowers, but she can see its beauty at a glance. Although it is called a barbarian star, there are actually many species in nature. Lin Luoran meets Will. Colin stared blankly at a tall tree, and she stopped walking. The tree is full of monkeys, which look no different from the monkeys on the Earth. They pick long milky white fruits on the tree and put them in their mouths. Lin Luoran jumps on the tree and picks one. A line of words automatically pops up in her mind, Baobab tree, 56 years old. It should be edible, right? Will. Colin is stunned to see the mysterious female cultivator in his heart stuffing long fruits into her mouth. He thinks she is not a very particular person. In fact, Lin Luoran is too particular. As a foodie, indifference can't cover up her heart. With her physique, she is not afraid of being poisoned. Naturally, she doesn't mind tasting all kinds of herbs like shinong. There is a milk fragrance and not much water. It tastes like starch on the tip of the tongue. Thinking of its name, Lin Luoran suddenly has an idea. Can it be roasted? She calls the 3 young people who are walking in the jungle to come back. She picks the fruits, makes a fire, skewers them on the wood, and turns them quickly. Strangely enough, breadfruits are very starchy, so they will swell after being roasted. However, there is a layer of oil on the golden skin. It tastes just like bread. She distributes the baked breadfruits to the 4 people. The little fox is running around in the forest. Smelling the aroma, it hurries back with a few blades of grass in its paws. Lin Luoran can see that there is a lot of reiki in the grass. You didn't wait for me. You ate alone. The little fox is very angry. It tries to grab the breadfruit, but it gets burned. It jumps up and down, which makes everyone laugh. However, what makes Colin more depressed is that the cyan little fox only stares at him, fiercely, which makes him feel like he is born by a stepmother. Han Weiya is still confused. Her personality is mostly the same, but her vision has been broadened by the interstellar travel on the starship. Lin Luoran feels that her heart is gradually opening up. Lin Luoran decides to take the young people to walk around in the mountains. Xiaoji is very upset that it can't see the planet by itself. In fact, it can scan the planet in its mind, but as a shapeless character, it is not easy to walk around the beautiful mountains and rivers by itself. Colin suggests hesitantly, in fact, I can stay on the starship and look after the robots to collect soil and plant samples. The intelligent brain can be attached to the robot, so it can go with you. Colin Weir is a little embarrassed. This is an excellent suggestion, but he is afraid that Lin Luoran won't believe it. It is possible that Lin Luoran will run away if she stays on the starship alone. He is worried, but Lin Luoran doesn't ask much. Xiaoji is also very happy about this proposal. It decisively chooses a small white robot carrier for itself and runs into the robot's body. Looking at the world through the robot's eyes is a different feeling from scanning. When the 4 people, a fox and a robot are far away, Colin Weir is still standing there in a daze. He has not been a good cultivator since he was a child. He has given up on himself and is a famous playboy on the Caesar Star. He has been living a befuddled life for a long time. Naturally, even the people closest to him think that he is useless. He has never been trusted like this, has he? Will. Colin Ware laughs at himself. Maybe the powerful female cultivator doesn't take him seriously at all. However, there is still an indescribable emotion similar to being moved by trust in his heart. Will. Colin Ware takes off the waterside red family badge on his chest and pinches it into two halves. Lin Luoran and the others didn't ask, and he didn't tell them. How can there be no signal tracker in his family badge? But now, there is nothing. Anyway, he has to hide his identity and start over again. Then he might as well start a new life quietly. Dig it out, dig it out, dig it out. The cyan little fox is like a light smoke, walking around in the forest, pointing at a lot of things like a money grubber. Lin Luoran feels deeply ashamed, but she has to introduce the things that the fox likes to the three people accompanying her. They are all extremely precious spirit herbs, many of which are not even planted in Lin Luoran's space. She can recognize them because of the strange notebook that manages plants in her space. However, the cyan little fox doesn't. It can be seen that the medicine fox has a keen eye. Ma Shuangshuang is still savoring the delicious baobab fruit and proposes to remove the tree. Lin Luoran flicks the greedy cat's head, asking her to feel the reiki of nature attentively. Xiaoji still can't understand humans' action of expressing affection. It comforts Ma Shuangshuang, whose forehead is red. When the robot takes the soil, various plants can also be recycled on the starship in the future. You will be late for baobab. The little robot it parasitizes is white and cute. It walks steadily in the jungle step by step. Han Weiya is in the worst condition. She is not much better than Ma Shuangshuang before. She is out of breath after walking for a while. After getting along with her for so many days, they are more or less acquaintances and have feelings for each other. Ma Yiming also regards her as a friend. He pulls her up with good intentions, but accidentally knocks off the gauze hat on her head. The skin on the girl's face is very white. Her cheeks are plump and her facial features are delicate. However, the red lines extending from her left eye and covering the entire forehead have ruined her good foundation. Her white skin has become a disadvantage, which sets off the red lines and makes her look ferocious and twisted. After a brief shock, Ma Yiming is in a hurry, trying to put the gauze hat back on her head. Ma Shuangshuang is the most impatient one. She covers her mouth with her hand in surprise. Xiaoji is an artificial intelligence. It can't understand human aesthetics, so it is not abnormal. However, Lin Luoran has seen it long ago, and Cyan Little Fox is also well aware of it. Han Weiya should be the most frightened one. Although she is becoming more and more cheerful, she is not psychologically prepared to expose the appearance she cares about the most in front of others. The girl slightly lowers her head. These emotions of inferiority, embarrassment, and shame surround her. Han Weiya is about to fall and her eyes are quickly filled with tears. Tears are about to fall. Ma Yiming is at a loss and apologizes. Lin Luoran disagrees and shakes her head. The voice of Cyan Little Fox seems a little mean in the sunny jungle of the wild star. It's just a piece of dirt on your face. Look at how you care about it. Just wash it off. Han Weiya is so angry that she forgets to cry for a moment. She yells, "What do you know? It's not on your face. Wash it off." How can it be so easy to wash it off? Why does she live under others' charity, away from her family, and wander in the interstellar with them? Cyan Little Fox is very disdainful. It rubs Han Weiya's face with its claws. Then it asks Lin Luoran for a mirror and hands it to Han Weiya. Han Weiya doesn't remember how many years she hasn't looked in the mirror. She holds the mirror and doesn't dare to look at herself. Ma Shuangshuang exclaims, "No, no." She finally has the courage to look in the mirror. Her little face is smooth and there are no lines. She can't help but feel happy. However, in the blink of an eye, red lines seep out from the depths of her skin again, occupying her plump and smooth forehead and the corners of her watery eyes. Liar, you liar. Han Wei smashes the mirror and stumbles into the depths of the jungle, crying. You give her hope and take her to heaven. Then you make her desperate and fall into hell. It's better not to give her hope in the first place. The siblings of the Ma family all think that Cyan Little Fox is making a big joke. However, Cyan Little Fox has always been arrogant and has no right to speak. They don't agree with it in their hearts. Only Lin Luoran smiles and twists the Cyan Little Fox's ears. Since you have already done it, I will leave it to you. Go after her. The Cyan Little Fox grins and scolds the bold female cultivator. It scratches Lin Luoran twice and breaks free from the ground. It pretentiously combs its hair and chases after Han Wei. The siblings of the Ma family feel that something is wrong. They look at Lin Luoran with great curiosity. Lin Luoran finds a clean lawn and everyone sits on the ground. Then she begins to explain the reason. In fact, since she saw Han Wei for the first time, she noticed that something is wrong. With the help of White Fairy, Lin Luoran has an encyclopedia. Soon, Lin Luoran recognizes what is in Han Wei's body. It is a goblin, an existence lower than a monster. To be exact, the girl is not poisoned or sick. There is just an existence similar to an evil spirit hidden in her body. Aunt Lin, did you give me the cold shoulder these days just to make the evil spirit lose its cool? Ma Shuang is like a curious baby. She has just found her 7 senses and is now curious about supernatural creatures. Lin Luoran nods. Boiling a frog in warm water is not as good as Cyan Little Fox's mean mouth. The dirty thing in Han Wei is just an idiot. It can't be provoked. In fact, this kind of thing is easy to deal with for cultivators. When the bolus fire burns it, it can't escape. However, Han Wei has been possessed for a long time, so Lin Luoran has never mentioned treatment. She only lets Han Wei eat with her every day and nourish her body with food with Reiki. Lin Luoran hopes that Cyan Little Fox will be gentle. Lin Luoran tells the siblings some common sense of the world of cultivation. The sky gradually darkens. There are 2 stars illuminating the barbarian star. Due to the different angles, the jungle they are in is only darkened, but not completely dark. However, it has been 2 hours. Could it be that Cyan Little Fox failed to catch it? Lin Luoran is a little worried. She is about to go and look for it. Before she releases her spiritual mind, she sees the cyan shadow running back with a gust of wind. Where is Han Wei? Only Cyan Little Fox runs back alone. Han Wei is just an ordinary person. Although the starship is not far away, it is still not safe for her. There are cultivators on this planet. The Cyan Little Fox is out of breath after running for a while. It says this after a while. Lin Luoran stands up at once. There are cultivators. How is it possible that the starship landing didn't disturb cultivators? Or, they have been watching in the dark. Now she doesn't know whether they are enemies or friends. She has been negligent. Let's go. Take me there. Hearing that there are other cultivators, the siblings of the Ma family are eager to have a try. Lin Luoran only tells them about the good side of the world of cultivation. It should be known that cultivators are not all good. How can she let them take risks with her? Lin Luoran is in a hurry, but she slowly calms down. She takes the siblings of the Ma family and Xiaoji back to the starship. She calls all the robots back, leaving only her and Cyan Little Fox. Other people must get on the starship immediately. After seeing the starship rise to a height that ordinary cultivators can't reach, she takes Cyan Little Fox back the way they came. Chapter 442. Through the dense forest, there is a yellow jade-like lake inlaid in a low-lying place. There is a small island in the lake with deep green trees. It looks like the romantic oil painting in The Wizard of Oz. At this moment, the water is clear and the maple leaves are like fire. Lin Luoran has only seen such a scene in one place, Juzhegu in Huaxia before the new era. Because it is very close to our city, it is probably the only scenic spot she has been to when she was in college. There is an island in the Yellow Lake with smoke curling up. It is smaller than Mount June Island, but there are also houses on it. Lin Luoran can recognize the red walls and green tiles at a glance. It is the most orthodox ancient Huaxia architecture. Cyan Little Fox is telling the truth. Lin Luoran takes a deep breath. If cultivation can only be learned by Huaxia people on the earth, how can there be cultivators on this wild star? But it is not necessarily true. You mean, when you caught the goblin, a light shot from the island and took Han Weya away? Lin Luoran stares at Cyan Little Fox, which makes the latter feel guilty. But it is true. Cyan Little Fox can't deny it, so it has to admit defeat. It certainly has a way to deal with a small goblin, in front of a fox spirit, who dares to use the name of a goblin. However, Cyan Little Fox is arrogant. It teases the goblin and doesn't give the island a chance to shoot light. Of course, the small goblin takes the opportunity to run away. Lin Luoran pinches Cyan Little Fox's ear hard and says to the communication device on her ear, "Xiaoji, let's go according to our plan." Got it. Lin Luoran squints at the sky. An airship is heading to the other side of the planet. In the end, she reached this step. There might be a cultivator on the barbarian star who disrupted her plan. Let's go and meet the cultivators on the island. If they are still there, Lin Luoran adds silently. With the breeze, she walks on the waves. In a moment, she comes to the island with Cyan Little Fox. I'm Lin Luoran, an individual cultivator. I pass by here and come to visit you. Is the master here? No one answers her. Lin Luoran frowns. She stopped abruptly at the edge of the island. Firstly, she was well-mannered. Secondly, there was a protective array on the island. She did not recklessly break through the array. However, Han Weya is taken into the island for no reason. Lin Luoran is not sure whether there is no one inside or they just don't want to talk to her. When she is hesitating, Cyan Little Fox jumps off her shoulder and runs into the bushes. Don't go. It's dangerous. The bush is inside the magic circle. Lin Luoran hasn't found the center of the circle yet. It's too dangerous for the Cyan Little Fox to break in. However, Foxy is impatient and disappears in the blink of an eye. Lin Luoran is shocked and has to follow it. The formation wasn't activated, so she easily passed through the light shield. Before she could figure out what was going on, the scene in front of her changed drastically. The rays of light on the isolated island, which was surrounded by ancient trees, suddenly twisted and turned into a peach forest. The peach trees on the edge of the island were just budding, the buds green and yellow. But 2 li further in, the peach blossoms were colorful, the clusters of pink enchanting the eyes. So on and so forth. The deeper one went, the more mature the peach trees were. The peaches were already ripe when they were 2 miles away from the innermost part. Such a scene may only appear on Mr. Jin's Peach Blossom Island. Lin Luoran takes a few steps forward and the petals fall on her shoulder. Cyan Little Fox holds a big peach in each hand and throws one to Lin Luoran. It tastes almost the same as the one you planted. Cyan Little Fox is so relaxed. It can be seen that there are no outsiders here. Lin Luoran takes over the peach and gently peels off the skin. The juice is sweet and it tastes just as good as the ones in the space. Where is Han Weya? Cyan Little Fox is not very happy. We were worried about her life and death. Unexpectedly, this little girl got a big lucky chance. Big lucky chance? Seeing that there is no danger on the island, Lin Luoran actually vaguely guesses the cause of the matter. She throws the peach pit at Cyan Little Fox and laughs. Why did you tease her? Now that the succubus has escaped, you go and catch it. Han Weya did get a big lucky chance, although she is still in a coma. Unfortunately, the girl has no Taoist root. She can inherit the treasures left by the predecessors, but she can't use them. Lin Luoran follows Cyan Little Fox to a cottage. 3 or 4 small rooms are hidden in the depths of the peach forest. Perhaps because of the protection of magic circles, they are as new as before. Han Weiya is attracted by the light. At this time, she is lying on the bamboo bed in the middle room, still in a coma. A crystal floats above her, and the gentle energy is improving Han Weiya's body. Lin Luoran doesn't disturb her. She goes to another cottage and finds a bronze stove with smoke and fire. There is also an old Taoist in a cyan robe sitting cross-legged on his knees. Although his face is ruddy and vivid, he has been dead for a long time. At first, Lin Luoran is not without vigilance. After all, she has been possessed. Although she is checking, she does not relax. Her eyes fall on the bronze stove. There is earth fire under the stove. She doesn't know how long it has been burning. Has the elixir inside turned into gray smoke? There is a jade map on the bamboo table. Lin Luoran hesitates for a moment and reads the information in it. To her surprise, there is no introduction of the old Taoist's origin in it. It is a book of alchemy notes. Some strange prescriptions of elixirs are recorded, as well as the old Taoist's lifelong experience in alchemy. Lin Luoran's heart is beating fast. This thing is actually the most useful to her rather than being inherited by Han Weiya. However, the most important thing in cultivation is chance and good karma. It seems that Han Weiya is destined to be on this peach blossom island, but this little girl does not have the Taoist root. Is it all arranged? Lin Luoran puts down the jade map. She needs to think about this matter. According to the jade map, the furnace of elixir is reserved for the destined person who can inherit his mantle. Lin Luoran is not unfamiliar with the name of the elixir. It is marrow cleansing elixir. It is a marrow cleansing elixir at the upper rank of grade 6. It is a rare elixir that can improve the aptitude of cultivation for cultivators below the bearing essence period. The prescription of the elixir is complicated and the medicine is harsh. Even with the spirit herbs planted in Lin Luoran's space, she can't get enough for the time being. In order to inherit his mantle, the old Taoist has paid enough. However, Han Weiya is the destined person. Lin Luoran can't even collect the elixirs. The way the Taoist chooses his successor is good. First of all, the person must be a Huaxia person born on the earth to cultivate. Those who are below the bearing essence period can only travel among the stars with their elders. The problem is that with the impact of science and technology many years later, even ordinary people can reach this barbarian star. Han Weiya has the bloodline to inherit his mantle, but she does not have the Taoist root. Lin Luoran sighs. Although she wants to inherit the prescription of elixir and this excellent alchemy furnace, she has not thought about shaping the Taoist root. This matter will cost her a lot of faith. Before she gets the faith, she does not dare to take the risk. Lin Luoran thinks about it. She still uses the spell of collecting elixirs in the jade map. With the personal ability of the late bearing essence period, she barely collects the grade 6 elixirs which have been refined for many years. Crimson elixirs are rare or she is not familiar with the collecting elixir technique. She only gets 3 and puts them in a jade box. She looks at the old Taoist on the couch. She wants to bury him in this beautiful peach forest. However, she stops and suddenly thinks of a problem. Why did she subjectively believe that the old Taoist is waiting for the successor of the Huaxia bloodline? Because of this peach forest, this cottage, his appearance, and the words on the jade map. He is originally an earthling. Lin Luoran grits her teeth and apologizes in a low voice. She checks the 4 straw huts and finds no trace of the Taoist. In addition to the elixir refining notes and a furnace of elixirs, the only thing he left is the crystal floating above Han Weiya's body. If she doesn't take the crystal, she can't continue to investigate. If she takes the crystal and interrupts Han Weiya's chance to improve her physique, she will feel guilty. If she doesn't take it, she doesn't take it. Lin Luoran has an idea and calls White Fairy out of space. Fairy, look at the Taoist. In the shade of the peach forest, White Fairy's shadow becomes real. She looks around and then turns her eyes to the dead old Taoist. She looks a little confused. It seems that she has seen this face somewhere. However, the memory of more than 1,000 years ago is too distant for her to remember clearly. She looks up at the peach forest again and a memory of her childhood comes to her mind. He is Taoist Danling. Lin Luoran is also shocked. Since White Fairy knows him, it means that this Taoist is from the earth as she thought before. But why did he die on the Savage Star? He looks peaceful. It doesn't seem that he died because of serious injuries. The Reiki here is much more abundant than on the earth. Why didn't he advance? White Fairy's expression is even more horrified than Lin Luoran's. That year, when I laid foundation, a guest came to the Misty Palace. Grandmaster asked me to go out and greet him. It was Taoist Danling. Taoist Shi Nian was already a gathering vitality ancestor. He was also a very important guest for the Misty Palace. Grandmaster loved peach blossoms and lived on an isolated island overseas. Later, I heard news about him. It was said that he had reached divinization and ascended to immortality. Divinization. Ascended to immortality. Does the so-called divinization breaking the void and ascending to immortality just mean walking out of the earth and coming to the other side of the starry sky? Lin Luoran is a little confused. Chapter 443. Lin Luoran is confused by the sudden discovery of Danling Taoist's body. White Fairy is not any better. White Fairy thinks it through first after a while. She looks happy and proud. She says to Lin Luoran, Danling Taoist was a good friend of my master. Let's bury him. Lin Luoran nods. Danling Taoist is dead, so it is impossible to get anything out of him. The dead should be respected. Since Danling Taoist loved the peach forest, let's bury him in this peach forest. Because of her and Cyan Little Fox's intrusion and the lack of energy for a long time, the illusion circle on the island has lost its effect. If she buries Danling Taoist, she is afraid that some beasts will accidentally enter the island and devour his body. After all, he is a senior cultivator. She didn't know him when he was alive, so he doesn't need to be humiliated by beasts after his death. If he were to be cremated, looking at his lifelike face, it was as if he was still alive. She couldn't bear to do it without a fire. Cyan Little Fox has been silent for a long time. It wants to say something but doesn't say anything. Han Weiya is still in a coma. Lin Luoran decides to wait until Han Weiya wakes up. After all, she is the successor chosen by Danling Taoist by chance. Before Han Weiya wakes up, Xiaoji sends a message saying that the matter has been solved. White Fairy can roughly guess what it is. Seeing that Lin Luoran is in a bad mood, she secretly shakes her head. She feels that Lin Luoran is still too soft-hearted after so many years of experience. Cyan Little Fox doesn't say yes or no. Everyone has a tacit understanding. Although they don't say it clearly, they all know what Xiaoji means when it says, it has been solved. Cyan Little Fox rolls its eyes. It says that peach blossoms are everywhere, so how can they not drink a cup of wine together? Lin Luoran also wants to divert attention. She takes out a lot of spirit wine and puts it in the peach forest. A person and a fox enjoy the flowers and drink with White Fairy, who is as beautiful as a peony. There is wine but no song. What a pity. Listening to the Cyan Little Fox talking in a young and crisp voice, Lin Luoran thinks it is a playboy from a novel in the Ming and Qing dynasties if she doesn't look at the little fox. However, while there was no singer, there was something even better. Lin Luoran remembers the only terracotta figurine of female music she took out from Mount Penglai. She wants to take it out, but she catches a glimpse of a jade flute placed together with the figurine. It was found by Xing Tian in the Jiuhua Palace of the Dragon Palace. Because he didn't know how to play music, he gave it to her, his grandmaster. She is no longer in the mood to play. She is even more worried than before. White Fairy's soul has become solid. She takes over the flute and plays a song that is light but makes people fall behind. Two people and a fox are all sorrowful because of the music. Lin Luoran has drunk a lot of spirit wine. This is the first time that she is so drunk that she can't wake up. Pink peach blossoms cover half of her body. The cyan little fox is drunk. It stares at White Fairy and hiccups. I didn't expect you to be a pitiful person. White Fairy puts down the bamboo flute and looks into the depths of the peach forest, but there is nothing. Is she a pitiful person? She used to be an outstanding female cultivator in the world of personal ability in Huaxia. She was the Grand Master's most valued disciple and the master of a palace. She lived a leisurely life and even had a Taoist companion who was envied by everyone. Now, she is only a remnant soul. The nine-tailed fox is right. She is really pitiful. What about you? You are the young master of the fox family. What happened to you and a female cultivator? The cyan little fox squints, pretending that it doesn't understand what White Fairy said. It pretends to be dead and denies it. It can tell at a glance that the old Taoist has something in his mouth to keep his body from rotting for thousands of years. That thing is obviously very important to the woman in front of it. Why doesn't she say anything? The cyan little fox is a little upset. It seems that people who stay with Lin Luoran for a long time always like to do inexplicable things. Why is it like this? The little fox stares at the woman who has become a drunkard. It resolutely refuses to admit that it has become a rotten good fox because of her influence. Han Weiya has a long dream. She dreams of a beautiful mountain forest and a gurgling stream. There is an old Taoist in a cyan robe with a kind face. He is talking to her in some kind of vernacular language. Alchemy skills? Inheritance? Han Weiya is confused. She wants to wake up in a daze. However, the old Taoist is old and Han Weiya feels sorry for him. She is forced to listen to him for a long time. The sound of the old Taoist teaching and the gurgling water are clearer and clearer. She finds it interesting, so she is not so anxious. From identifying spirit herbs to the tips of gathering elixirs, Han Weiya was at a loss before. Now she is gradually enlightened. She calms down and finally gets into the right state. As soon as she has a taste, the old Taoist smiles at her lovingly. He says that the fate of master and apprentice is over. He asks her to cultivate hard and don't ruin his legacy. Han Weiya wakes up with sweat. The crystal floating above her body has run out of energy. It falls to the ground and turns into powder. What happened? Lin Luoran is relieved to see that she wakes up after sleeping for 3 days. After all, she is immortal. It is not worth it to make her a fool if she doesn't inherit his legacy. You finally wake up. Well, go and pay your respects to your grandmaster first. When she wakes up, she has a grandmaster. Han Weiya is muddle-headed. She follows Lin Luoran to see the lifelike Danling Taoist next door. The scenes in her dream come into her mind. The little girl's eyes are wet unconsciously. She has only slept for 3 days. However, in her dream, she seems to have stayed with with her grandmaster for several years. Earnest teaching can't be fake. There is a futon on the ground. Han Weiya kneels down and respectfully kowtows to the body of Danling Taoist 3 times. When she kowtows first, the smile on Danling Taoist's face becomes bigger. Lin Luoran is startled and secretly vigilant, afraid of any changes. After 3 kowtows, Han Weiya's white forehead turns red. However, the smile on the body of Danling Taoist is showing his teeth. Lin Luoran is vigilant. Possession doesn't happen. Danling Taoist doesn't come back to life. However, a piece of navy blue stone 2 inches long and 2 fingers wide falls out of his smiling mouth. As for his well-preserved body, the moment the stone fell out, it turned into powder in front of everyone's eyes. Even the green Taoist robe on his body was not spared. Han Weiya is stunned. She doesn't know why her grandmaster melted after a few kowtows. Looking at the stone on the ground, White Fairy is also hesitant. The cyan little fox is almost choked to death by the peach pit in its mouth. It has noticed this thing for a long time, but it falls out after kowtowing. Is it a coincidence? No matter how you look at it, it seems to be a trap. Lin Luoran comes to herself from a daze. What is that? The cyan little fox makes a noise and coughs out the peach pit. It is the Green Mountain's jade. Lin Luoran is suspicious. It should have something to do with the little fox. Why does it stare at her with strange eyes? The cyan little fox coughs twice and says loudly, it has another name in the world of cultivation, 10,000-year hollow azurite, 10,000-year hollow azurite? Isn't it the first thing that she promised White Fairy but can't do? Lin Luoran's eyes sweep over Han Weiya, the jade map of alchemy notes, the alchemy furnace, and 10,000-year hollow azurite one by one. Thinking of the fact that Han Weiya was chosen as the heir of Danling Taoist but had no Taoist root, she asks with a headache, Fairy, in addition to alchemy, Danling Taoist is also good at calculation, right? Now she really believes that Danling Taoist was a divinization cultivator before his death. His calculation is flawless. Maybe it can't be achieved by simple arts of nature. Every one of them is something she cares about because she lacks it. The 10,000-year hollow azurite appears in the end, just to ask her to help Han Weiya solve the problem of the Taoist root. The alchemy notes and the alchemy furnace are fine. However, she has promised White Fairy 10,000-year hollow azurite for more than 300 years, but she has to take it. Being led by the nose always makes her feel aggrieved. Lin Luoran wants to stamp her feet. Han Weiya, bury your grandmaster's ashes. I'm afraid we have to have a good talk when we get back to the starship. After everything is taken away, the Peach Blossom Island sinks into the lake after Lin Luoran and others get on the starship. After all the changes, they have long forgotten that it is a little goblin who caused all this. What kind of waves could an existence that was even lower than a spiritual monster do? In the forest on the other side of the ocean, the morning light illuminates everything in the forest. Because of the heavy rain, the traces of the massacre that happened 3 days ago have long been washed away. The corpses of the Alliance people are all fed to the beasts. A hand stretches out from a half-buried gun pit. There is some dried blood under the fingernails. The man gets up from the pit and raises his pale face. If Colin Weir is here, he will definitely beat him up. The cold and arrogant expression on his face is too familiar. Gott loses his color. Come back to life again, he struggled to stand up and looked at the horizon. The starship was only a small silver dot in the sky and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Apparently, it had completed another space jump. When it reappeared, it was countless light years away. Chapter 444. 10,000-year hollow azurite is not a rare thing. When we get back to the Earth, I'll get you 8 or 10 pieces. The cyan little fox can't stand the arrogant divinization cultivator talking about calculating with his fingers before he dies. It jumps up and down in the starship and pats its chest to make a promise. Lin Luoran sighs at it. She has a hunch that she won't return to the Earth in a short time, unless the Earth can stand up and talk to the Alpha Alliance on an equal footing. 10,000-year hollow azurite. Is it only available in the Green Mountains? Lin Luoran frowns imperceptibly. Cyan little fox's pride is hidden under disdain, as if this thing is really as common as stones on the ground in the Green Mountains. Of course. The Green Mountains jade is only produced in the Green Mountains. If we return to the Earth, can you still enter the Green Mountains? Lin Luoran's voice is full of expectation. Cyan little fox thinks for a while, but it shakes its head. I'm afraid I have to wait. It doesn't even know how long she has to wait. Lin Luoran throws up her hands helplessly. How can she let White Fairy wait for her? Lin Luoran drives everyone out of the room, except for Han Weiya. The girl's face is white. Without the entanglement of the goblin, she is actually a beautiful girl. Besides, she has been taught by Danling in her dream. The indifference caused by inferiority has melted a lot, leaving only the confusion in her character. Although Lin Luoran is cold, she is afraid to scare Han Weiya by talking. Just like Ma Shuangshuang, she has the temperament of a beloved sister. However, not to mention that Danling likes her, she is also entangled by the goblin with her beautiful appearance. She must have been very unlucky to be entangled by the goblin. One had to know that the word charm was enough to show what kind of appearance a succubus would take a fancy to. Or, even if she has no Taoist root, her physique is different from others. Lin Luoran can't see it for the time being, so she puts this question aside. Cyan Little Fox actually stimulates the goblin to cure your disease. Its method is a bit radical. Don't worry about it. Lin Luoran, this is not what you want to say, okay? Lin Luoran's words turn around. She wants to beat herself up. Han Weiya is a little excited. How could I? You don't know how many years the red lines have troubled me, it bothered her for many years. When she was about 5 years old, she went to someone else's house as a guest. As a child, she didn't know what was going on. She broke free from the babysitter's hand and touched the seemingly docile Moonstar savage beast. A ball of red light spurted out and her face was ruined. As an interstellar merchant, Father Han went to a high-level member planet for help. However, he was only able to diagnose that there was a strange thing in her body that was controlling the growth of the red lines. They said it was a poison. If it wasn't for her stubbornness this time, she would never have been able to find out the truth. It turned out that it wasn't a poison, but a charm living in her body. Red lines on her body part. World, she would not know if the red lines will now, the think. And the red lines. Han Weiya's gratitude is clearly written on her face, which makes Lin Luoran feel like she is scheming against the little girl. 10,000-year hollow azurite. Lin Luoran is no longer little white. She knows that this kind of Green Mountains jade is the most important treasure in the eyes of cultivators who make elixirs. A little powder can change the quality of elixirs. Since Danling Taoist's name is elixir, it is not surprising that he has 10,000-year hollow azurite. The strange thing is that White Fairy is a soul. She can't use 10,000-year hollow azurite to make elixirs. The body doesn't decay. Lin Luoran suddenly thinks of the lifelike female corpse in white in the underwater palace. It is so similar to Danling Taoist's situation. Are they both relying on 10,000-year hollow azurite to preserve their bodies? White Fairy said that she has no sisters, but they have the same face. Lin Luoran really doesn't want to doubt the people around her, so she puts this horrifying idea away. Han Weiya has been waiting for her to speak. However, Lin Luoran encourages her and temporarily suppresses her previous idea. When Han Weiya goes out, only Lin Luoran is left in the room. She presses her eyes tiredly. She respects White Fairy a lot. She has only fulfilled one of the 3 things she promised in the past. Of course, she took White Fairy back to Misty Peak. In fact, White Fairy helped her easily seize the starship. The starship of the Alpha Alliance is not ordinary. Except for the Sword of Bright Snow, Lin Luoran has no handy weapon. If she hadn't escaped into the mountain through the tunnel of the Misty Palace so that people of the Alpha Alliance couldn't find her, the process would not have been so easy. However, the female corpse in white and her act of possession are always like a thorn in Lin Luoran's heart. There is no trace of Huaxia cultivators. Normally, she should not worry about the reopening of Bermuda's secret land. The female corpse in white is not the only enemy she has provoked in there. After comforting herself, Lin Luoran can't get rid of the faint uneasiness in her heart. Maybe her leisurely days of interstellar travel should come to an end. The starship is gradually deviating from the normal route. Xiaoji is working hard. Many edible plants collected from the planet where Taoist Danling's body was found have been used in the planting area. People will not panic if they have pure food. Colin Weir agrees. In fact, if Lin Luoran's space is completely reclaimed to grow rice, she won't have to worry even if the starship carries tens of thousands of people one day. However, it is not a good thing to let people develop the habit of relying on the space. She used to think that she could provide the daily needs of the Lin family and what they need for personal ability enhancement. She hoped that they could have the best food, clothing, housing, and transportation. When the catastrophe comes, she is not with them. Naturally, the space is not there either. The only one they can rely on is probably themselves. Therefore, everyone, including the fox, knows that she can take out fresh food and good spirit herbs at any time. However, they don't know what Lin Luoran's bottom line is. She was so open and aboveboard, occasionally taking out a lot of strange things. Who would be stupid enough to ask where they came from? As a result, everyone feels that agricultural construction is indispensable if they want to stay in the interstellar for a long time. They are very enthusiastic about external planting areas. Han Weiya is working hard to sort out the knowledge taught by Danling. The spirit herbs she can see with her own eyes are only the little green seedlings in Cyan Little Fox's medicine garden. Every day, she cares about whether they grow taller. Seeing her serious look, Lin Luoran can't help but think of Yuan Yi, her first apprentice who loves elixirs. If Yuan Yi meets Han Weiya, they must have a lot of common topics. Ma Shuangshuang has amazing talent. In an environment where there is no shortage of Reiki, Lin Luoran thinks she can soon train Qi into her body and enter the early stage of training Qi. As for Ma Yiming, he is too poor to feel Qi. It seems that she is wrong about the difference between the Taoist root of 4 natures and the Taoist root of 3 natures. Compared with Yuan Yi and Xing Tian, his talent is much worse. Unless, she uses the bone marrow cleansing bolus. She has to think about it again. Shaping the Taoist root is not a simple thing. She can't make such a hasty decision. Except for the cold robots, there are only a few intelligent beings on the starship. Colin Weir gradually gets familiar with everyone except the Cyan Little Fox, who will argue with him because it dislikes his face. Colin Weir should be proud of himself. He is now the first alien that Lin Luoran recognizes. Of course, poor Colin Weir doesn't know what Lin Luoran is thinking. Lin Luoran always recognizes a person on the surface. Weir doesn't understand Huaxia's implication. Colin Weir is indeed a little sad. Another reason is that Lin Luoran has been locked in the room alone. She says that she wants to refine weapons for a long time. The Earth's civilization of cultivation is so extensive that people spend a lifetime to study it. Maybe they can only peek at a corner of the ocean. Seeing the siblings of the Ma family discussing personal ability enhancement, from time to time, Han Weiya follows the Cyan Little Fox and is obsessed with making elixirs and spirit herbs. Colin Weir envies her to the bone. He can only envy her. Only people of Huaxia blood on the earth can cultivate. This is common sense known by every member of the Alpha Alliance. However, common sense can also be wrong. For example, one day when Lin Luoran comes out of closed-door training, she uses monster materials to refine weapons, which is novel and complicated. White Fairy said that some common sense doesn't always work. Refining weapons is the same as making elixirs. It depends on the individual's understanding in the process. Some very precious materials were ruined by her, but there were also very ordinary materials that, due to a moment of inspiration, had extraordinary effects. For example, Xiaoji estimates that they will encounter an asteroid belt after a jump. However, after a jump, it causes an effect that they did not encounter at all. It even causes Lin Luoran to come out of closed-door training in advance. There is no other way. The Edward has its first car accident in interstellar navigation. It is not an asteroid but another larger starship. Yes, after drifting in the interstellar space for more than half a year, Lin Luoran and others finally find traces of interstellar civilization. Chapter 445. Car accidents between starships are extremely rare in the universe era. Therefore, when a starship suddenly appears on the route and hits the Edward, this huge cargo starship still collides with the Edward even though it has made an emergency response in time. The cargo starship is twice as large as the Edward. The side that the Edward collides with is loaded with cargo. There are no casualties, but both sides are damaged. The cyan little fox is furious. The dented part of the starship happens to destroy its medicine garden. The after effects of the interstellar jump are still there. The starship is aggressive and sends out a bunch of chaotic signals. Xiaoji receives it and interprets it. It is not the starship of the Alpha Alliance. They are drifting among the stars. It turns out that they have arrived at the Nami Alliance star zone, which is a corner of the Alpha Alliance. The cargo starship sees that the other side does not respond, so it changes its voice to the interstellar common language. Who are you? Do you want to go to the Alliance court for disturbing the channel? Lin Luoran raises her eyebrows. The starship is larger than the Edward and it is a cargo starship. Her spiritual mind explores it and finds that the weapons and equipment inside are not like those of a cargo starship. After drifting among the stars for half a year, she has learned a lot from Xiaoji. Including the channel. Xiaoji, do you know anything about the Nami Alliance? Her spiritual mind sweeps over the starship like water. She does not intend to hide the fluctuation of her spirit power, but her main purpose is to explore the weapons and equipment of the other side. As for the number of people, it is never the focus of interstellar war. The Nami Alliance is about 5,000 light-years away from the Alpha Alliance. Most of its territory is still in the Milky Way. The extreme north is near the Andromeda Galaxy. There are 17 alliances in the galaxy, and the Nami Alliance ranks among the top 5 in strength. Like the Alpha Alliance, it is named after the most powerful Nami star. Lin Luoran nods. Xiaoji has made a lot of progress during this time. The subtext is that it can't even defeat the Alpha Alliance, so it is better to keep a low profile in the territory of the Nami Alliance. Therefore, it points out the strength of the Nami Alliance in the galaxy. However, she turns her eyes and asks, Xiaoji, is this channel very remote? Who would take such a channel on the edge of the Nami Alliance? With the answer of the brain, Lin Luoran knows that she has guessed correctly. There is something wrong with the cargo starship. She also asks Xiaoji to make a signal, same here. If you do, you will go to the Alliance court. It was obviously a smaller starship than the other party, but the stowaways were still so confident. Was it really a starship with excellent weapons? The two of them exchanged a few words, but they were equally matched. They still couldn't tell the truth from the lies. The starship on the opposite side was silent for a long time. Then, it sailed past from one side and put away the weapons compartment that was ready to attack. It is not until the starship disappears in the vast sea of stars that Lin Luoran and the others on Edward come to their senses. People from the Nami Alliance seem nice. Ma Shuangshuang is relieved. Everyone in the central control room looks at her with pity. Ma Shuangshuang touches her face. There is nothing on her face. Ma Yiming wants to cry but has no tears. Did he protect his sister too well and let her be ignorant of the world? It seems not right. Lin Luoran can't help but laugh. She turns to look at Han Weiya. Do you know why they didn't pursue it? Han Weiya lowers her head and thinks for a while. Are they smugglers? Other than smugglers, who would choose such a remote route and be afraid of publicity? Han Weiya's family is also engaged in interstellar trade, so it is easy for her to think of this. Lin Luoran nods and then shakes her head. Smuggling is one thing, but there are other reasons. Colin should be able to think of it. Colin Weir. Colin's handsome face is a little pale. Yes, they should be interstellar pirates. In addition to smugglers, only interstellar pirates can take the remote route. Judging from the other party's warehouse and weapons, they may have both. Lin Luoran is also curious. Why didn't they do anything to Edward? Boss, That starship is so broken and it is in such a remote place. Why didn't we do anything? A tall, fat man was twisting in his seat. His eyebrows were thick and black, and his ears were pointy. He was wearing tailored work clothes, but they didn't match his temperament at all. It looked like he had stolen clothes. If you look closely, you will find that there is a circle of orange scales behind the fat man's ears, which is the most obvious sign of the Nami star. This is a small council hall. There are more than a dozen people like the fat man, who look very arrogant. The woman sitting in the first position has most of her blonde hair hidden under a blue captain's hat, covering the orange-red scales behind her ears. His facial features were deep, and his impressive figure was wrapped in a blue captain's uniform. His lips were fiery red. Although he was also sitting lazily, there was always a faint green light flashing through his slender eyes when he opened and closed. She is not as vicious as a wolf, but a beauty with flaming red lips and a pair of green eyes. Her name is Windsor. Shi Yan is the owner of this starship and also the leader of this group of men with different faces. Yes, she is Windsor. Shi Yan is not only engaged in smuggling, but also the leader of the island that once frightened the Nami Alliance interstellar merchants. The title of Queen of Windsor is enough to frighten many small businessmen who have just started their business. She picks her nails lazily. Blockhead, do you know why I let that starship go? Blockhead is a fat man with thick and black eyebrows. Hearing Windsor calling this ugly name again, he flatters, "Boss, are we really going to clean up our names?" Her subordinates all nod like chickens eating rice, looking for Windsor to solve their doubts. That broken and small starship is smuggled. They can't complain about it. However, Her Majesty the Queen just let that smuggled starship go, which makes everyone in the conference room feel very sorry. Windsor has a headache because of this group of brainless mobs. Clean up our names? What's the point of robbing that broken starship? Our batch of goods is the most important thing. If we sell it, we can earn several times more profit than robbing a broken ship. Blockhead frowns. Since Her Majesty the Queen is going to get married, she has become much gentler. He really feels comfortable after being scolded. However, is it really just because she is afraid of delaying time? Blockhead is a little confused. Windsor drives all the mobs out of the conference hall. Shi Yan's green eyes droop. Except for her, no one else on the starship can feel the spirit power as soft as a stream. Although it flows gently, it makes her feel cold. Windsor doesn't care about the background of the other party. Although she looks beautiful with big breasts and no brains, Queen Windsor can still live well under the Nami Alliance's arrest warrant. In addition to being more vicious than men, Windsor also has a woman's unique delicacy. That is propriety. Queen Windsor never robs a ship that she is not sure about. The Edward starship where Lin Luoran and others are still carrying the identity of stowaways at this time. Without legal business qualifications, they break into other alliance forces in Hanoi at will. It is not an exaggeration to say that they are stowaways. However, the Nami Alliance is powerful and they don't have time to help the Alpha Alliance extradite all kinds of fugitives. As long as you can pay a large sum of money, you can settle down in the Nami Alliance, no matter why you sneak into the Nami Alliance. It is very similar to the situation of Huaxia and a certain country on the other side of the ocean before the new era. Xiaoji's suggestion was to pay such a fee. Lin Luoran has no idea about settling down. She will only admit that she is an earthling in her life. However, the starship is actually very poor. Lin Luoran has a headache about what to use to pay the fee: spirit stones, magic weapons, flying swords. Forget it. People in the Nami Alliance don't need these things. In fact, food with Reiki is very popular in the Alpha Alliance. It should be the same in the Nami Alliance, right? Maybe. Colin Weir hesitates. The omnipresent Reiki that fills the universe is the secret of human longevity. Whether it is intelligent life, beasts or plants, they all need Reiki to evolve. However, as soon as the scientific and technological civilization develops, the original Reiki on the planet will dissipate. The civilization in Hanoi understands this truth when it reaches a high level, but it is too late to regret. There are fewer and fewer barbarian stars like the ones Lin Luoran and others found when they came here. The developed planets can't grow crops with abundant Reiki. Crops that have been grown organically also have no Reiki. Lin Luoran understands Weir. Colin Weir is vague about the reason and nods to show that he understands. She lacks everything except for a space that is against the natural order. A day equals a year, and it still retains Reiki after the growth. Gaining a foothold in the Nami Alliance is just the first step. Maybe she can also rely on the space to have the capital to return to the earth. Lin Luoran has decided to sell a batch of spirit rice first. She plants a batch of rice in the open space in the space. After the land is divided, the yellow land can only be ripened. The level of Reiki of the crops is no different from that of those planted outside. Lin Luoran has a whimsical idea. Can she temporarily extract Reiki from the space to nourish the rice? She doesn't need a lot, just a little. It's such a good thing to have her dream come true. Forget it. Since the space is so obedient, she doesn't have to struggle anymore. She can either plant spirit herbs or pull out the spirit herbs and plant spirit rice on the black land. There are always choices in life. Lin Luoran thinks for a long time and still only plants rice on the yellow land. Lin Luoran chooses some spirit stones of the wood and buries them in the rice field, hoping that it will have a similar effect. While waiting for the spirit rice to mature, the starship sails to the largest trading star nearby. Lin Luoran also calls the siblings of the Ma family in front of her. Ma Shuangshuang has trained Qi into her body and is connecting the spells of the 5 elements. But in essence, in Lin Luoran's eyes, she is just a little girl who can't protect herself, just like the other 3. These days, she makes very few magic weapons with monster materials. However, she is not short of animal skins. She makes a lot of good defensive armors. The materials are good, much better than the armors she used to make with scorpion shells. Lin Luoran distributes these clothes. Weir, Colin Weir, and Han Weya also have clothes. However, these clothes are not as good as those of the siblings of the Ma family. After Lin Luoran receives 3 batches of spirit rice, they come to the trading star of N2. Various starships take off and land from time to time, showing the prosperity of N2. This is a barren planet covered with sandstone. It has no production or minerals. It only has a volume 10 times larger than the Earth and a pivotal position in the corner of the Nami Alliance's interstellar route, which makes it an excellent trading star. Before the Edward is allowed to land, Lin Luoran has already seen an old acquaintance. The depression that has not been completely repaired belongs to the cargo starship they met a few days ago. Chapter 446. Queen Windsor has seen a lot of things. Seeing the hilarious depression on the Edward starship, she has already understood why the stowaway is so confident to appear here. The currencies of different alliances are not interconnected. Only the credit points of the Nami Alliance can be used to exchange for residential qualifications. That is to say, there are goods on this small starship that can attract interstellar merchants. Windsor's green eyes are blazing. As a pirate, she can't suppress the adventurous spirit in her bones. She doesn't know what kind of goods it is. It's a pity that she didn't do it at that time. Queen Windsor feels a little sorry. However, when she sees the airship landing on the opponent's starship, Windsor comes to her senses instantly. The spirit power fluctuation is as cool as a stream. It is gentle when it sweeps over the starship. However, when she orders to rob the opponent's starship, it will not be gentle anymore. There is an unfathomable existence on this small starship. Windsor reminds herself to be vigilant. The starship has landed on the short-term rental space. She walks off the starship with her men. The Free Trade Star is a paradise for trade. Regardless of the origin of the goods, even a pirate leader like her can show up above board. Wearing a blue captain suit and wavy blonde hair, Queen Windsor looks gorgeous when she appears on the port. It's Windsor, hush, don't you want to live? Whispers are blown away by the monsoon wind of the landing port. She is extremely beautiful, but she is a poisonous scorpion. She is like a rose, fragrant and lovable. If you are not careful, you will get blood all over your hands. Eyes of love and fear are mixed. Queen Windsor is so charming that she is the focus of attention in the landing port. Except for the unromantic robot, she is so beautiful that even women can't help but stare at her. This atmosphere was broken when a handsome young man walked out of an airship that did not have a landing permit. He has double pupils and a handsome face. His clothes are not in line with the aesthetic standards of the Nami Alliance. Compared with the Alpha Alliance who advocates simplicity, the powerful residents of the Nami Alliance prefer retro dressing. Both men and women love to wear formal dresses. Windsor's captain's suit is already unique. Bah, he must be a gigolo from a remote planet. Many people think bitterly because Windsor has been looking at the young man openly. The young man seems to be a little shy. He speaks the interstellar standard language with some accent. After successfully arousing the jealousy of the merchants in the port, he looks around and asks with a smile, "Excuse me, does anyone want to buy spirit rice?" What did the gigolo say? Many people are still in a daze. They haven't realized the spirit rice he mentioned. Windsor's charming green eyes are half squinting. She has already strode towards the young man. She can feel that it is not him who sweeps the starship with spiritual power, which makes Windsor feel a lot less pressure. Furthermore, spirit rice was something that could make money. How could he not fight for it? When Windsor begins to talk with the young man enthusiastically, the petrified businessmen react one after another. They can't hide their excitement. Spirit rice, God above, that pretty boy said he wanted to sell spirit rice? Synthetic food and organic crops were nothing in front of the spirit rice that could nourish the body and prolong life. Hey, let's buy spirit rice. Ha, young man, let's talk about the price, shall we? Allow me to introduce myself to you. A group of people squeeze the young man in the middle. Businessmen pursue profits. In the face of absolute interests, they selectively forget the prestige of Queen Windsor. Besides, it is an unwritten rule that everyone relies on their own means to do business. Will. Colin was squeezed into the crowd, and his face was sprayed with saliva. Enlarged facial features came close to him. All kinds of perfume mixed together. It smelled like Will. Colin feels that he is going to vomit. These damn Nami Alliance men also like to wear perfume. Sissy, you sissy, Will. Colin is drowned in a group of uncles. He wants to cry but has no tears. He deeply regrets the plan of selling spirit rice proposed by Lin Luoran. Queen Windsor smooths the golden hair on her cheeks. When she smiles, her red lips and green eyes make her look like a glamorous pirate leader. In front of a group of uncles who are not calm, she is as graceful as Her Majesty. A group of businessmen is finally invited to a council hall on the Edward. An old man with a slight beard, short and fat, only half the height of a normal person, is sitting in a chair. His nose is just higher than the table, so he can smell the fragrance of logs on the long wooden table. Is he really a piece of wood? Gee, which prodigal did this? White and shiny spirit rice is placed on the table. Some people check the goods with magnifying glasses, and some use small instruments to analyze the ingredients. More than a dozen businessmen who are allowed to come here are all influential people in the landing port at that time. Their eyesight is extraordinary, and they have actually confirmed the quality of the samples. The space is divided into 3 kinds of land: red, black, and yellow. This time, the spirit rice planted is really in a hurry. Its reiki is much less than that of the land used to plant fruits and vegetables. Lin Luoran originally wanted to call Will. Colin looks at her, but she still underestimates the Nami Alliance's desire for reiki ingredients and her own eyesight. With her personal ability in the late bearing essence period, she will be far from advancing to the next level by eating rice with very little Reiki until the end of her life. However, the Nami alliance is different. The more advanced the technological civilization of the superclustered intelligent creatures is, the more dependent they are on technology. Their evolution seems to be cursed. They crave longevity, but they rely on external things. They don't know that the evolution of their own bodies is the key. Instead, they crave for Reiki ingredients and spirit medicine that can prolong life. In the eyes of the Nami alliance, spirit rice is more attractive than highly profitable tobacco. Mr. Will, it seems that you haven't told me how much spirit rice you have, and how much are you going to sell it? Queen Windsor is sitting on the first seat on the left. The spirit rice on the long wooden table is dripping from her fingertips, adding a kind of charm to her. This woman is so beautiful, Will. Colin's eyes are a little serious. Honey trap is useless. He has seen the performance of the Nami alliance and decides to raise the price to the highest before he makes a move. Ms. Windsor, before we talk about the price, may I have the honor to invite you for dinner? Windsor glances at him, and her green eyes are smiling. She doesn't take it seriously in her heart. She really thinks that Colin is another young man who is seduced by beauty. However, the proud queen soon finds that she is wrong. Will. The meal Colin is talking about is not only for the two of them, but for everyone present. The long solid wood table is transformed into a dining table. The robot butler puts candlesticks and flowers on the table, and spreads silk napkins on the table. The light in the conference room is dimmed a few degrees, and it is a warm dining light. Of course, although there are knives and forks, there are no appetizers or desserts. What the robot butler serves is similar to the rice with meat and vegetables that can be seen everywhere in Huaxia before the new era. The red soup of braised beef with potatoes covers half of the rice with distinct grains and sticks together. The vegetarian dish on the side of the plate is shredded potatoes with double peppers. Oh, as God can testify, the aroma spreads all over the table. Who can stand it? The short and fat bearded old man picks up the spoon and takes a bite first. The improved Sichuan-style braised beef with potatoes is moderately spicy, and it attacks people's taste buds. He chews a few times and takes a deep breath. Bearded Dad, what's wrong? Is there something wrong with the spirit rice? The steaming spirit rice exudes an attractive aroma. It doesn't look like there is a problem. Everyone is suspicious. The short and fat old man nicknamed Bearded Dad takes another careful bite, and his beard trembles. It's not just spirit rice. These ingredients are also ingredients with Reiki. Tut tut. Will. Colin watches them competing with each other and he is very confident. This time, Lin Luoran doesn't plan to sell anything else. She doesn't come to the Nami alliance to make money. However, if she reveals some other ingredients with Reiki, these businessmen will not dare to bargain. If they can't enjoy the first cooperation, how can they cooperate with each other in the future? Windsor finishes a plate of rice with meat and vegetables inelegantly. No matter how rude she is, her face can make her look cute. This young man is really a good candidate for business. Windsor secretly sighs. If only she could poach him. However, since they boarded the starship, the real master has never shown up. Windsor feels a little sorry. After eating the rice with meat and vegetables, with Huaxia characteristics, the businessmen all stare at Will. After Colin Weir, the former noble son of the Caesar star who plays petty tricks and deserves a beating finally shows an impeccable smile. Since the guests have finished eating, let's start. Oh, I forgot to tell you that the spirit rice this time will be auctioned in 3 batches. Boom. The businessmen who are almost full feel dizzy. Their appetites are kept in suspense. Auctioning in 3 batches. They can't afford to hurt a gigolo, they can't afford to write about rice with meat and vegetables in the middle of the night. I'm so hungry. This is yesterday's. Now I'll try not to owe more updates. I can't afford to be in debt. Chapter 447. The crystal coins used by the Alpha Alliance are based on some kind of rare ore and issued by the Alliance. In fact, they are a kind of virtual currency just like the credit points of the Nami Alliance. The difference is that the crystal coins of the Alpha Alliance are not recognized by the Nami Alliance, but the credit points of the Nami Alliance are universal in several alliances. The currency of the powerful alliance will never depreciate. What could one credit buy? You can't even buy fruit that can stimulate the growth of children. There is a huge gap between the rich and the poor among the Nami people. The powerful member stars certainly have better welfare. Rich people spend tens of thousands of credits to make a piece of clothing. However, there are many members at the bottom of the member stars who work hard for a day and earn 10 credits. Although Colin comes from a big family on the Caesar star of the Alpha Alliance, he knows little about the prices of the Nami Alliance. The Han family, which started its business in interstellar trade, does not have a wide range of trade across the alliance. Therefore, Colin came up with a dirty trick. He divided the spirit rice into 3 auctions. The price of each auction would definitely be higher than the previous one. There was no way to lower the price. Mr. Weir, you still haven't told me how much spirit rice you have. Windsor taps the table with her fingers and catches the point at once. If there are too few of them, she won't make much profit buying the next batch. 6 tons of spirit rice, 2 tons per batch. There is a smile in Windsor's green eyes. Spirit rice is originally a high-end commodity. If she can get 6 tons of spirit rice, she will not have to go back empty-handed. Colin smiled as he stared at these alliance people. Looking at their luxurious clothes, they obviously wanted to bid for it. On the surface, they were polite, but they couldn't stop the price from rising. 500 credits per caddy. 500 credits? Bearded Dad, do you think you're buying rotten persimmons? The short and fat bearded old man was so angry that his beard was trembling. What kind of rotten persimmon was this? What kind of rotten persimmon could be sold for 500 credits per caddy? There was even a piece of mashed potato on the collar of his splendidly pleated shirt, making him look particularly comical. I'm willing to pay 600, Mr. Church, you must be joking. I'm willing to pay 800. Colin didn't say anything. When they raised the price to 1,800, he still didn't give up. Everyone has been discussing for half a day. Are you thirsty? As the host, I am truly lacking in hospitality. Please stop and have a cup of tea. Tea was not unique to Earth. When the merchants heard this, they also felt thirsty. Thinking of the potato and beef rice from before, they were really interested in what kind of tea this starship could provide. Lin Luoran doesn't disappoint them. She asks the robot butler to serve the best Dahong Pao. The beautiful blue and white porcelain bowl and the golden soup hit the elegant Nami people before they drink the tea. In the past, Huaxia porcelain was exported to Europe via the Silk Road and became popular in the upper class. Lin Luoran sees that they wear complicated clothes and behave the same as what she saw at the vampire dinner party. She guesses that they may have similar aesthetic appreciation even though they are far away from each other. Sure enough, as soon as the blue and white porcelain appeared, the ancient Huaxia civilization, together with the simple wooden table, defeated the cold technological space. It was a victory in temperament and atmosphere. They suddenly felt that their mouths were even drier. A cup of tea for each person didn't cost much tea. However, the refreshing reiki contained in the curling mist still made the merchants feel relaxed and happy. The tea also had a flavor that could make people feel less impetuous. It was actually a kind of tea that they had never drunk before. It was the best tea. Colin takes a sip of tea. He knows that Lin Luoran is observing in secret and pushing the auction along with the flow. The bidding atmosphere became heated again. The merchants almost tore off their elegant masks and fought on the table. The gorgeous and domineering Queen Windsor lowered her head to drink tea. This tea was as good as the best tea in the alliance. Maybe she found another business opportunity. Windsor, who looked careless but was actually careful, narrowed her eyes. She had decided not to bid for these merchants, which annoyed Weir. Colin looked at the female pirate calmly. It was not easy to find a seller for spirit rice, but it was easy to find a buyer. There were many craven dignitaries. The first batch of spirit rice was finally sold at 3,000 credits per kilogram. 1 ton was 1,000 kilograms, which was sold at 6 million credits. The second batch was slightly higher at 6.4 million credits. Windsor participated in the third batch and raised the price to 8 million. However, she turned hostile and refused to buy it. A little more than 20 million credits. Weir. Colin didn't know if it was enough to get temporary residence, so he didn't say anything. The Edward may have more Reiki ingredients for sale. Let's see what our boss says. If it will be sold again, we will inform you. The merchants were satisfied with the result. The owner of the starship held other Reiki ingredients from time to time. They knew that he was laying the groundwork. Those who didn't get spirit rice also regained their elegance. The two parties settled the payment and left calmly. The Nami Alliance obviously paid more attention to the privacy of citizens. In addition to personal computers, they also used anonymous credit crystal cards for credit transfer. They could pay at any time with the card and password. These merchants used this credit crystal card to settle the transaction. Weir. Colin looked at the card made of crystal-like material in his hand and looked up with a smile. Ms. Windsor, did you agree to have dinner with me alone? Windsor's green eyes were shining with temptation. If we can talk about the business of Reiki ingredients, such as potatoes and spirit tea. It will be more than dinner. Windsor took a step forward and Colin took 3 steps back. Well, only my lady can make the decision. Cultivator Lin was too distant and Sister Lin was too cute for him. Weir. Colin thought that he had boarded Lin's pirate ship anyway, so he put down his pride, hugged her thigh and called her lady. The beautiful female pirate leader's smile faded a little. It turned out that the mysterious master was a woman. Windsor felt that she had lost her natural advantage when dealing with the same sex. Weir. Colin spread out his hands. Ms. Windsor, I'm going to get off the ship to apply for a temporary residence permit. How about giving you a ride? A trace of anger in Windsor's eyes was well hidden by her. Weir's order to leave was so obvious that she felt humiliated. However, the beautiful female pirate leader survived among a group of tough bandits and even became the boss. Windsor smiled. Mr. Weir, it's your first time here. How about I accompany you to apply for a temporary residence permit? What could Colin say? It was the most difficult thing to accept a beauty's kindness. Lin Luoran and Lin Luoran pretended to be a gentleman and a lady respectively. They went down by airship and went to the nearest office of N2 Star. The conference hall was quiet. Ma Shuang came out with a pout. Aunt Lin, look. Colin is really a big pervert. Lin Luoran thought of the female pirate's glamorous appearance and shook her head secretly. Whether it was Windsor or Colin, when they confronted each other, their flirtatiousness and charm were just a disguise. On the earth, she saved Weir. Colin, this noble man, could also inquire about what benefits he could get from her. It was totally not related to the word, good. As for Windsor, a female pirate who can control a starship, if she is really a delicate beauty, she would have been devoured by the men long ago. Han Weya accompanied Cyan Little Fox to rescue its medicine field. Only the siblings of the Ma family followed Lin Luoran. Ma Yiming thought about the conversation he heard before and asked, Aunt Lin, do we really have to sell Reiki ingredients? With temporary residence, there was no need to sell Reiki ingredients, right? To be honest, Ma Yiming felt distressed about selling spirit rice. Anyway, they could be self-sufficient. What was the use of the Nami Alliance's credit points? Lin Luoran was surprised. I took you out from the Earth, not to suffer. Since we came to the Alien Alliance, it would be a waste of our half-year interstellar drifting risk if we didn't experience it. We can't do anything without money. This time, we came to the Nami Alliance for a tour. Since the collision with the pirate starship, Lin Luoran gradually sorted out her thoughts. In fact, she was wrong. She was now in the late bearing essence period. If the experience of the Nami Alliance could help her smoothly advance, Lin Luoran would have the confidence to return to the Alpha Alliance's star territory. Whether it was artificial intelligence with independent consciousness or the awkward colonial status of the Earth, as long as she advanced, even if she was only a gathering vitality cultivator, it would be enough for the Alpha Alliance to pay attention to the Earth. The relatives and friends of the Lin family are all gone. Lin Luoran has nothing to lose now. With the starship as her support, she can travel in the vast star territory at any time. It is easy for her to make some big shots of the Alpha Alliance panic. She started the space jump rashly because it was a provocation to the Alpha Alliance. She didn't want to bring the war to the Earth. Secondly, it would be a great fortune to be able to reunite with an old friend in the vast sea of stars. Will the heavens let her wish come true? Lin Luoran is not sure. However, she has always been stubborn. It is always good to have hope. Even if there is only 1 in a billion chance, maybe, the dream will come true. The Ma siblings saw that although Aunt Lin's face was still gloomy, her brows were much more relaxed. She was truly relaxed, and they were secretly happy. Ma Shuangshuang doesn't know when Colin will come back from applying for a temporary residence permit. Ma Shuangshuang is going to prepare dinner and she is driven away by Ma Yiming to practice her personal ability. He feels that his sister is talented and he should make good use of her. He can't waste her talent because of trivial things. Seeing Ma Yiming going to cook with a smile, Lin Luoran holds her chin and hesitates. Marrow cleansing bolus. Should she exchange it with Han Weya or not? It's weird. Colin comes back very late, long after the usual dinner time. The cyan little fox lies on the table and wails, making a scene and shouting for dinner. Even the good-tempered Xiaoji wants to throw it off the starship. When the nearest star to the N2 star has not completely rotated to the other side of the planet, Colin finally comes back. He comes back with a feeling of being ripped off. The temporary residence permit is not expensive, but the flight permit of the Edward is extremely expensive. The people of the Nami Alliance are not fools. Those who can come here from other stars are either rich or stowaways. The former naturally has to be taxed heavily. The latter, of course, has to pay for their lives. The flight permit of the starship is too expensive, although there are many smugglers. With the carrying weight of the Edward, we're The 3 tons of spirit rice Colin sold today are only enough to pay for 4 months, which makes him very depressed. What was shameful was that the flight permit was sold at an annual price. When their starship came from the Alpha Alliance, they came empty-handed except for energy, weapons, and some raw materials. It is really not worthwhile to pay such a high flight permit fee. In fact, it is reasonable. The huge cargo carrying capacity of the starship is wasted. Weir thinks it is not worth it. However, those who are really engaged in trade can only make more than 50 million credits by making 2 trips a year. A large starship is also a sign of strength. Lin Luoran thinks it is not worth it. After you got off the starship, have you observed most of the goods sold? Weir. Colin feels refreshed. He has observed carefully, otherwise he would not have been delayed for so long. I met a Nami star and got some information from him. A princess on the Nami star is about to have a wedding. The luxury trade of the N2 star has recently increased. It is estimated that these merchants have the intention to send this batch of spirit rice to the Nami star. Princess, Empire, Nami Alliance. Most of the planets are ruled by royalty, and the dressing customs are still in the Middle Ages on the Earth. A royal wedding on the most powerful Nami star of the Alliance will drive domestic demand and consumption. What will increase is not necessarily luxury goods, right? It seems that we can sell more than Reiki ingredients. Although Reiki ingredients make money the fastest, Lin Luoran smiles and looks up with a smile. The Nami star must be very lively since the royal family is getting married. Why don't we go to the Nami star first? Everyone agrees with this suggestion. The cyan little fox who is immersed in eating agrees the most. Colin talks about Windsor's help today and her intention to cooperate with him. Lin Luoran doesn't care that the other party is a pirate. The price of the flight permit is beyond her expectation. Many starships came to planet N2 to trade with each other every day. Selling a few more things here would not attract any attention. Windsor only wants spirit tea. Spirit tea is too eye-catching. Unlike spirit rice with light reiki, tea trees are not rare. The old tea tree in her space is tens of thousands of years old, and she is reluctant to sell it to others. Colin smiles, spirit tea is the best. But I think she is willing to sell other things. Lin Luoran has an idea. She has seeds in her space if the yield is high. Since she has agricultural robots, Lin Luoran finally doesn't have to cry when farming on a large scale. She has decided to plant potatoes. These retro Nami Alliance people who always imitate expensive clothes can't get rid of the smell of mashed potatoes. Lin Luoran firmly refuses to admit that this is her bad taste. In Huaxia before the new era, it was not difficult for the average yield of potatoes to reach thousands of kilograms per mu. In fact, in foreign countries with fine mechanized management, it is normal to produce 4,000 or 5,000 kilograms per mu. Even if the price is lower than that of spirit rice, the robots in her space can produce tens of thousands of kilograms per mu. After a few days of planting, the flight permit will not be a problem and there will be some surplus. Lin Luoran takes out all the potatoes she harvested before in her space. A few hundred kilograms of seeds is obviously not enough. She needs to cut these hundreds of kilograms of potatoes and plant them first. After the harvest, she will repeat the process. It is relatively easy to plant seeds in 10 acres of land. Potatoes rely on tubers to germinate. One potato can plant several tubers, and each vine can produce a nest of potatoes when harvested. Agricultural robots are more precise and professional in cutting potatoes. They don't waste any tubers that can germinate. Lin Luoran is relieved to let several small robots in her space do the work. 3 days later, when Lin Luoran sees the neatly arranged green plants mixed with purple, vermicelli, and white flowers on the 10 acres of land, she knows that it is time to slaughter the fat sheep. You don't need to inform others. If Windsor can handle this batch of goods, let her come. Colin curiously asks how many potatoes there are. Lin Luoran mysteriously stretches out a finger. 10,000 kilograms. Add another 0. 100,000 kilograms. Let her come tomorrow, and she will have 200,000 kilograms. The day after tomorrow, she will have 300,000 kilograms, and so on. You know. Yen %. Colin is speechless. The means of cultivators really make him feel that he is an ignorant bumpkin. They can always break his understanding again and again. Without the flight permit, the starship can't land. Even Lin Luoran has been on the starship for a long time. Windsor can wait, but they are too lazy to wait a few more days. This batch of potatoes has been boiled to 200,000 kilograms. They sell all of them to Windsor at the wholesale price of 800 credits per kilogram. The number on the crystal credit card is already numbingly astronomical. Compared with the price of spirit rice, they seem to lose a lot. However, in fact, the high yield of potatoes per mu dilutes the reiki in the field. For the price of spirit rice, they have already made a big profit. Windsor accepts this batch of very fresh high-quality health food. She intends to make friends with the mysterious, distant guest. For the first time, she is so kind in doing business. After the transaction, Windsor still doesn't see the owner of the starship. She has to say to Colin sends an invitation. Our starship is about to return. May I ask if you are also going in the same direction? We can take care of each other. Ma Shuang, who is eavesdropping, laughs. The female pirate said that they should take care of each other. Does she want to rob the Edward halfway? You're tuning into the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.